Good time to stop by the table in front of the Water Wing Shop. Purchase some tickets for our 50-50 raffle here this evening. We'll be announcing the winner later on tonight at the end of the 7th inning, and you must be present to redeem your prize. It's only $1 a ticket or $5 for 6 tickets. All the proceeds will go to the Cracker Jack Foundation, the charitable arm of the Long Island Ducks. Remember now, that's the table in front of the Water Wing Shop. Main concourse will be hot and home plate and sign up for our 50-50 raffle here this evening. Good luck from the Long Island Ducks and the Cracker Jack Foundation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on this special evening, our Military Appreciation Night for 2014, please direct your attention to the area in front of the pitcher's mound here at Bethpage Ballpark. Here he is, Mr. Firecracker himself. He's ready to go. Here's Fast Freddy Forgione.
Thank you, Bullet Bob. Ducks fans, welcome to Bethpage Ballpark on a very special evening for a Ducks game. Tonight is Military Appreciation Night, and following the game, there will be a pyrotechnical fireworks extravaganza, all brought to you by Northrop Grumman. Now, fans, here from Northrop Grumman to throw out the first pitch of the game is Northrop Grumman Electronic Attack Program Director, Doug Swash. Fans, put your hands together for Doug right now. And Doug's going to throw out that first pitch to Ducks coach Buddy Harrelson. Doug, go ahead, fire it in. That's a strike. Buddy called it on the way in. Good job, Doug. All right, step right up to the side there. And now, fans, it is Military Appreciation Night here at the ballpark. A very special evening. Of course, we appreciate all of our military and all that they do for us. So right now, representing each branch out here on the field, first up, from the Air Force, Tech Sergeant Katie White. Let's hear it for Katie. Katie fires a sinker right in there, swing and strike. Good job, Katie. All right. And now coming on out, Navy Petty Officer Esteban Guzan. Esteban, go ahead, a southpaw. Good job. You got Buddy on the move. He made that play. Good job. All right. And now, representing the Marine Corps, Sergeant Jonathan Orloff. Let's hear it for Jonathan. Go ahead, Jonathan. That was a fastball right there. I like it. And ladies and gentlemen, finally right now, representing the Army, Staff Sergeant Jason Gutierrez. Let's hear it for Jason. Another good fastball. Fans, one more time, a big round of applause for these members of our military and all members of the military here in the ballpark tonight. We appreciate all you do for us.
Sounds good, Chris. I'm ready to go when you are.
Fans, don't forget before the ball game begins to stop by the tables right behind the press box tonight to bid on this year's special patriotic jerseys that the Long Island Ducks are wearing this evening. Those same jerseys are being auctioned off right now to benefit the Cracker Jack Foundation, the charitable arm of the Long Island Ducks. Remember now, that's the tables in front of the Water Wing Shop to bid on your favorite Long Island Ducks jersey while helping a great cause, and you could be walking away with that jersey tomorrow. Now remember, the bidding ends in the middle of the 7th inning this evening. All donations are tax deductible and the jerseys are one of a kind, so make sure to register right now before the ball game begins so that you don't miss out. You can register right up to the middle of the 7th inning.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to Bethpage Ballpark here in Central Islip, New York, where today the Long Island Ducks play host to the visiting York Revolution in an Atlantic League matchup here in the interdivision matchup of the Liberty and Freedom Division. Well, hello everybody, I'm Mark Schwartz and welcome into the broadcast booth today, as I'll be calling the play-by-play commentary for all you listeners out there here on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. The Ducks returning home after the longest road trip of the season. It was a 9-day road trip in which Long Island played 10 games, 10 very important games, and that'll be one of the main storylines that we'll watch as we progress further through tonight's ball game. Overall, the Ducks this season enter tonight's ball game with a 47-45 record. They're 7-16 here in the second half. The York Revolution have a 53-39 overall record this season, 12-10 in the second half, and these two teams really were traveling in different directions, but Long Island has turned things around as of late. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Ducks at one point had lost 13 consecutive games. They had lost 11 straight after the beginning, well, after the All-Star break, really, leading into the 11-game road trip, and they dropped the first two games of that 11-game road trip to the Camden River Sharks. So the Ducks at one point had dropped 13 consecutive games, but they have responded since that point. They won on Saturday night against the Camden River Sharks at the beginning of the road trip back on July 26, 10-5. And since that point, the Ducks have won 5 of their last 8 games. So trying to work themselves out of an early slump in the second half of this 2014 campaign, trying to right the ship and get themselves into the postseason. The Somerset Patriots clinched a playoff spot by taking the first half of the Liberty Division, 6.5 games over the Long Island Ducks. The York Revolution, the team that the Ducks are playing tonight, already have a playoff spot clinched of their own after taking the first half of the Freedom Division. So looking at the Ducks' potential postseason chances as we look towards the rest of this season, some of the best ways the Ducks might be able to get in would potentially be with Somerset taking first place in the second half standings. The Ducks currently are 6 behind the Patriots for first place. The Bridgeport Bluefish and the Camden River Sharks both a game and a half back of Somerset. So if either Bridgeport or Camden were to win the second half of the division outright, then they would make the postseason and the Ducks would be out of luck. If Somerset were to win the second half in the Liberty Division, then things would get a little more interesting, as it would be the next team with the best overall record after Somerset that would get that next playoff spot. And after the Ducks had lost 13 consecutive games earlier in the second half, they no longer have that large of an advantage in terms of their composite record compared to other teams in the league. Notably, 2 teams to watch out for are the Lancaster Barnstormers and Sugarland Skeeters, and things will continue to get more interesting as we progress further into the second half. A couple of other storylines to watch for today. The Ducks making a couple of transactions earlier today, signing and activating right-handed pitcher Sergio Perez, and in a similar move, releasing Jeremy Accardo to transfer over for that acquisition. And the Ducks also trading away outfielder John Myers to the River City Rascals of the Frontier League in exchange for the rights of outfielder Evan Crawford, left-handed pitcher Tommy Organ, and a player to be named later. So some transactions currently going underway for the Ducks, and a couple of more possibly coming in the works as we progress through this homestand. Another big storyline to watch throughout this ball game and throughout the rest of the season is the Pace of Play initiative here in the Atlantic League. It was brought into action yesterday and will continue today. And with the Pace of Play, a committee of former big leaguers gathering around to try to determine how they can make baseball games a little quicker. And we'll have a couple of those initiatives in work tonight, notably 6 pitches allowed, 4 pitchers in between innings, and only 3 mound visits, besides mound visits to pull out pitchers and make a pitching change allowed for each team over the duration of the game. We'll get into the specifics of those and the rest of the game as we progress. We'll take our first break of the pregame show. When we return, I sit down with Ducks manager Kevin Baez and talk about the last road trip for Long Island and the upcoming series against the York Revolution on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Hitting 7th for York, left fielder number 9, Tim Battle, number 9. Batting in the 8th position, designated hitter number 20, Angel Flores, number 20. And hitting in the 9th position for the York Revolution, the catcher number 15, Alberto Espinosa, number 15. Pitching tonight for the York Revolution and warming up in the visitors' bullpen at the end of the left field line, right-hander number 35, Corey Thurman. Number 35, the starting lineup tonight for the visiting York Revolution. And now here's the starting lineup for your Long Island Ducks on this Saturday night. Leading off for your Long Island Ducks in right field, number 24, Phelan Lentini, number 24. Batting second at third base, number 25, Brendan Harris, number 25. Hitting third, the center fielder, number 20, Lou Ford, number 20. Batting in the 4th position and playing left field, number 13, Adam Bailey, number 13. Hitting in the 5th position.
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz here on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming on the Ducks official YouTube channel, youtube.com/DucksBaseball, and on the Ducks official website, liducks.com, for all the Flock faithful to listen around the world. It's Military Appreciation Night here at Bethpage Ballpark. There's a post-game pyrotechnical fireworks extravaganza planned courtesy of Northrop Grumman. So a lot of patriotism in the air here at Bethpage Ballpark tonight. But before we get underway with tonight's ball game, I had an opportunity to sit down with Ducks manager Kevin Baez to talk about the preceding road trip for the Ducks and also about this upcoming series against the York Revolution.
All right, Kevin, thanks for joining us. First off, welcome home. Welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. How does it feel to finish off the longest road trip of the season and be back at home?
It feels great. I was like, wow, 9 days, 10 games in 9 days, so the longest trip of the year, and, it's great to be back, no question.
Well, entering that road trip, you guys had an 11-game losing streak, wound up hitting 13, finally broke it against Camden that Saturday night. Do you feel like for the rest of the road trip the team might have played a little looser, knowing that monkey was off their back?
Definitely, once we got that first win, a lot of guys kind of relaxed a little bit, and it was a nice feeling, no question, because guys were pressing. It seemed like every close game we were, we're losing, and so they were getting, just upset and just the heartbreak losses as well. So, it was nice to get the win, no question, and just, and get 4 more on that road trip.
So now when we're looking back at this series, the bullpen has been a little question at the back end. You've used John Malone at the beginning of the road trip as a closer, and then David Kopp, now Brett Lorne. Can you give a little insight into what's going on with the back end of the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the games that we lost, it was always at the back end of the bullpen. And, Malone just struggled, and, I talked to him and basically told him, he's not going to be closing right now until, kind of figures it out. So then we went to actually Nice, and then he gave up the next day. Yeah. And then I went to Kopp, and Kopp had a good outing, and then I think the next outing he gave it up. So then we went Loren. So just trying to figure it out. I basically told him, right now it's it's up for grabs, and who wants it, and I got to go with who's pitching and who's getting the toughest 3 outs of the game, and those 9th inning, the last 3 outs are the toughest outs.
I'm talking with Ducks manager Kevin Baez. So we've had a couple of player acquisitions, transactions earlier today. John Myers traded to the Frontier League. Jeremy Accardo released. Just talk a little bit about their contributions to the team this season and what you might be missing after them leaving.
Yeah, John Myers, with a gutsy player, a guy that you want on a team. It just one of the things where we needed to kind of shake up our bullpen. And Accardo's pitched, he's an MLB guy. He's aggressive. He throws strikes. Just that the numbers weren't there, and we thought we needed to shake it up a little bit. So moving Myers and getting a couple of guys from their team, I think is going to help.
So talking about those guys, I know relatively unknown, at least to the Atlantic League. You have 2 guys coming from the River City Rascals, Perez guy that's just signed. Can you talk a little bit about their acquisition, any contributions they may make?
Well, we're hoping that they make good contributions. Perez is a guy that throws the ball well. He's going to be in the bullpen. And we got a lefty coming from the River City, so and then on the outfielders. So we're excited about them coming in here and trying to do their part and help this team win.
Now you're going up against the York Revolution team today. They had a great first half of the season, won the Freedom Division. They've played really well against the Ducks so far this season. Can you just talk about what the strategy may be going up against a talented York team?
Well, when we talk about the teams, we go over the kind of scouting reports before we played them for the first time, especially. This is a good hitting team, and right now they're playing well, and their pitching is really good too. So, they're a good team. There's no question. That's why they got one of the better records in the league. So, when they won the first half, you got to go out, you got to limit your mistakes, and you got to play to win. You got to be aggressive and take it to them.
Talking with Ducks manager Kevin Byers, you got John Brownell going tonight. What are you expecting out of him?
Yeah, we're expecting Brownie to be aggressive like he's always has, and go deep into the game, and do what Brownie does: throw strikes, and basically keep us in the game.
And on the offensive side of the ball, Brendan Harris now on a 25-game on-base streak, really picked it up since he first joined the team. Just talk about his contribution overall to the lineup and the offense.
Offense and defense. I mean, he's just been a great acquisition that we got, and just been plugged him into the two-hole recently. Just thought that it gives us a little more on-base percentage, and Puckett did a great job in the number 2 hole too. But just thought this kind of helped it out also a little bit, and also moving Puckett down a little bit puts him in some RBI situations as well. Just something that we did, and hopefully he keeps doing well. But he's just a quality player, and glad to have him.
All right, Kevin, thanks for joining us, and good luck tonight.
Thank you, Mark.
That was Ducks manager Kevin Byers here on the North Shore LIJ Southside Hospital pregame show, as we now set the pitching matchup for tonight's ballgame between the Long Island Ducks and the visiting York Revolution. It's the 12th time that these two teams will meet this season. York currently holding an 8-3 season series advantage, but overall, over the course of this entire matchup in the Atlantic League history, these teams are tied at 73 apiece. So a lot of back and forth action between these two teams, and we'll expect to see similar to that tonight, as it's John Brownell on the rubber for the Long Island Ducks. Brownell making his team-leading and league-leading 20th start of the season. Brownell, the tall right-hander, is 10-6 overall this year with the 4.04 earned run average. Also leads the league in complete games with 4, and innings pitched with 129 1/3. Brownell has struggled against the York Revolution so far this season. In 3 starts against the Revs, Brownell is 0-3 with a 6.52 ERA. So he'll look to turn that around tonight for Long Island, as his counterpart on the other side for the York Revolution is the longtime Atlantic League and longtime York Revolution veteran, Corey Thurman, who has really experienced a nice resurrection to his career this season. Thurman is 6-3 overall with a 3.71 ERA in 15 starts. Overall, in 77 2/3 innings of work, Thurman has allowed 32 runs on 46 strikeouts and 20 walks. It's his 7th year with the York Revolution, and he has been very strong against the Ducks so far. He has also made 3 starts against Long Island. He's 2-0 and has yielded just 5 runs over 17 innings, good for a 2.65 earned run average. Slightly overcast here in Central Islip, Long Island tonight, so we're hoping that the rain can stay off. It rained earlier today, but the tarp is off the field. Grass looks good, dirt looks good, the lines are painted, and we're set for first pitch coming up next here, as we'll take our final break of the pregame show for the national anthem. When we return, we'll have the starting lineups and first pitch between the visiting York Revolution and the hosting Long Island Ducks, right here on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Could I get an extra minute right now on this? And I might ask for another 30 seconds, but an extra minute for now. Thank you, Chris.
And baseball fans, tonight's color guards to honor America, to honor our flag. Formed in the first base coach's box this evening is Cub Scout Pack 691 of Maria Regina in Seaford. The color guard tonight, formed in the third base coach's box, is Boy Scout Troop 151 of Islip. And fans, we also would like to recognize the following members of the armed forces who are standing behind home plate and thank them for their service to our country. Here's Master Sergeant Matthew Rep. Technical Sergeant Katie White, Staff Sergeant Christopher G., Master Sergeant Matthew Morgan, Master Sergeant Christopher Cody, Master Sergeant Ellis Couch from the United States Air Force, and from the United States Marines, Sergeant Garlardi. Please give them a hand and thank you for your service to our country. And fans, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats and caps. And veterans, we invite you to salute. The Long Island Ducks on this special evening are very proud to present Anthem Idol winners Janine Wilms.
Yeah, could I get, actually, is it possible to get another minute on it? They're just about to start the national anthem right now. All right, thank you. Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Janine Wilms and Michelle Savori with tonight's national anthem.
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz here on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM, LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming at liducks.com and youtube.com/ducksbaseball. A terrific rendition of our national anthem done here at Bethpage Ballpark tonight by Janine Wilms and Michelle Savori on Military Appreciation Night in Central Islip. Again, a pyrotechnico fireworks extravaganza presented by Northrop Grumman planned after the game. But we are getting set for the game itself, and first pitch between the Long Island Ducks and the visiting York Revolution. Thank you so much for joining us here on this slightly overcasted, slightly windy, and slightly chilly Saturday evening here on Long Island. It feels like it might be a little more towards September and more of a fall baseball feeling in the air than it does really in a dog day of the summer. But nonetheless, we're getting ready for first pitch as we watch the radar throughout the entire night. It looks clear right now, so hopefully all the rain will steer clear from us throughout the entire duration of tonight's ball game. But as we set the lineups, first for the visiting York Revolution, managed by Mark Mason. The pitching coach is Paul Fletcher. And the bench coach / third base coach is Angel Polanco. Their lineup tonight, a little different than what you might be normally accustomed to seeing out of the York Revolution, as both Justin Green and Wilson Valdez are not with the team currently due to personal reasons. So a little different lineup. It's Sean Smith leading things off for the Revolution, and he'll be in center field. Eric Patterson moves up one spot in the order. He'll bat second over in right field. Travis Garcia, who has normally been a bottom-of-the-order batter for the Revolution when they've played against the Ducks this season, Garcia will bat third and start over at shortstop. Chad Tracy is the cleanup batter over at first base. Bryant Nelson, the former Duck, will hit fifth over at third base. Ophelio Castro, the second baseman, bats sixth. Tim Battle bats seventh, and he'll be over in left field. Angel Flores will make his Revolution debut tonight here at Bethpage Ballpark. He'll be the designated hitter acquired earlier today by the York Revolution. He'll hit eighth, and rounding up the order is the catcher for the Revolution, Alberto Espinoza, batting ninth and catching for the Revolution. And again, all of them working against John Brownell on the rubber for the Long Island Ducks. Brownell stares in, will work from the windup, and the first pitch of tonight's ball game, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1, and we are officially underway. Local time 7:10 p.m. Brownell quickly from the windup, the 0-1. Swung on, broken bat blooper, shallow right field. Out goes Cody Puckett. It'll land over his head. And Sean Smith has a leadoff base hit here. 2 pitches into the ball game in the top of the first. So Smith will certainly be somebody to watch for on the base paths as we set the defense for the Ducks tonight. Starting in the outfield, moving from left to right, it'll be Adam Bailey in left, Lou Ford in center, and Phelan Lentini in right. Along the infield, Brendan Harris plays over at third base. Dan Lyons is the shortstop. Cody Puckett at second. Joash Brodin will be over at first base. And Jan Vasquez behind home plate for the Ducks. Once again catching John Brownell on the mound. First pitch fastball here to Eric Patterson. Misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. Patterson, a left-handed batter, working against the righty John Brownell, who works from the stretch for the first time tonight. Smith leads off of first base as the 1-0 to Patterson's on the outside corner, knee high for a called strike, 1-1. Brownell, the third-year Duck, stands at 6'3", 215 pounds from Norman, Oklahoma. He works from the stretch with the left-handed hitting Eric Patterson at the plate. Slightly open stance for Patterson as Brownell comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball drops in for a called strike. And Brownell quickly moves ahead in the count at 1-2. Smith leading off of first base. Has 25 stolen bases this year with the Revolution. That's second most on the team, behind Wilson Valdez, who leads the team with 35, 1 behind Phelan Lentini for the league lead. Here Patterson grounds one to the left side. A diving stop made by Lyons. His throw to second in time. What a play by Dan Lyons, diving to his right, makes the full extension stop, and then has the wherewithal to throw it on to second base to get the force out. A highlight reel play made by Dan Lyons, and we'll have Mark Mason come out to the field to argue things over with the third base umpire, Warren Nicholson. It'll give us an opportunity to set the umpires, at least, for tonight's ball game, as it's Derek Moshe behind home plate, Fred DeJesus at first, and Warren Nicholson over at third. It was a bang-bang play at second base, but Nicholson gave Dan Lyons and the Long Island Ducks the call. A very brief conversation between Mason and Nicholson. The call will stand. 1 away here in the top of the first inning, and that'll bring up Travis Garcia. It's already a pretty big call in the early stages of this ball game, because instead of excellent speed being on the base paths for the Revolution and runners at first and second with nobody out, instead, runner at first base with 1 away and Garcia at the plate. Still, Eric Patterson has very good speed over at first, so you have to remain cognizant of him. But a fine defensive play made by Dan Lyons, preventing further damage so far here in the top of the first. As the first pitch to Travis Garcia is a fastball that misses low and outside, 1-0. So a fielder's choice for Eric Patterson if you're keeping score at home. Score at 6-4. That puts Patterson at first and retires Sean Smith from the base paths. So here's Travis Garcia, and he grounds one over to short. Lyons fields onto second base for 1. The turn to first is not in time. The throw was a little high over to second base, so Cody Puckett had to take some time to collect it, step on the bag, and then fire it on to first. Another fielder's choice, score at 6-4. 2 away now in the top of the first inning, and that'll bring up Chad Tracy. Tracy, the cleanup hitter for the Revolution, hitting .248 this year with 12 home runs and 65 runs batted in. A right-handed batter to work against John Brownell, right-handed starting pitcher for the Ducks. 2 out, no score, top of the first inning, a runner at first base. First game of a 3-game set between the Long Island Ducks and New York Revolution before Long Island hits the road for another 6 games. First pitch here to Tracy, swung on, grounds it to third. Harris in front of it, fields cleanly, and his throw to second in time for the force out. So John Brownell works around a leadoff base hit to Sean Smith and keeps the Revolution off the scoreboard. We'll move to the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Ducks and the Rebs on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Alan Howard of Pleasure's Appliance, and it's making its worldwide premiere here at the ballpark this season. Now, if Glenn could just throw one of these frisbees right there through that slot, he's going to win a new DVD player courtesy of Pleasure's Appliance. Glenn, it's a simple game, but you got to make that throw. Fans, let's cheer him on. Glenn, let's go. Play selection. almost hitting a revolution. One, go, you got it. Let's go, Glenn fans. We got to make some noise for him as he goes for it out here. Come on. Oh! We have the winner! Fans, let's make some noise. Our first winner of the season, Glenn from Brentwood. And that was Slot Champ presented by Pleasures Appliances. Fans, if you want to play this game at home or at the beach, it's going to be available by the spring of next year. That was Slot Champ by Pleasures, and remember, it's always lesser at Pleasures.
And now, fans, please take a look at the Duck Vision scoreboard in left center field. Here's a word from Sky Zone.
What if there were a place where we could all be happy, healthy, and free? Where we could soar through the sky without a care in the world? A place where we could all go young. Where fitness was fun.
Fans, the Ducks and Municipal Credit Union have teamed up this season to present the Walk with a Purpose promotion. Every time a Long Island Ducks player walks, Municipal Credit Union will make a donation to the Quackerjack Foundation. Municipal Credit Union serving members since 1916. Bottom of the first inning here at Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming at liducks.com and youtube.com/DucksBaseball. We'll set the lineup for the Ducks here in the bottom of the first inning. No score between them and the Revolution. Tonight, the Ducks lineup managed by Kevin Baez. The pitching coach is Steve Foucault, and the hitting coach is Lou Ford. Phelan Lentini will lead things off for the Ducks. Brendan Harris hits second, and Lou Ford bats third. Adam Bailey's the cleanup hitter. Cody Puckett will hit fifth. Joe Ashbro-Dean sixth. Jan Vasquez moves up to seventh in the order. Sergio Miranda is the designated hitter for the Ducks tonight. He'll hit eighth. And rounding up the lineup is Dan Lyons. Again, a couple of transactions made by the Ducks earlier today. John Myers was traded to the River City Rascals, so Myers out of the lineup, of course. And Bill Hall not playing tonight for Long Island either. So Sergio Miranda is the designated hitter. Phelan Lentini will lead things off here for Long Island in the last of the first inning as Corey Thurman toes the rubber for the Revolution. And the first pitch fastball on the inside corner for a called strike to Lentini, 0-1. Phelan hitting .311 this year, 2 home runs, and 43 runs batted in. The 0-1. Fastball misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Thurman on the hill here, the 6'2", 245-pound right-handed starter from Augusta, Georgia, in his 7th season with the York Revolution. The 1-1. Swung on and grounded over to second base. Fielded cleanly by Ophelio Castro, and his throw to first in time for out number 1. So we'll set the defense here for the Revolution in the bottom of the first inning. It'll be in left field. Well, starting in the outfield, moving from left to right, it goes Tim Battle, Sean Smith, and Eric Patterson. Along the infield, Bryant Nelson over at third, Travis Garcia at short, Ophelio Castro is the second baseman, Chad Tracy over at first base, and behind home plate is Alberto Espinoza. So 1 out, nobody on, last of the first. Brendan Harris will be the batter. Right-handed batter working against the righty Thurman. From the windup, first pitch fastball in the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. The Ducks tonight wearing their commemorative camouflage jerseys. Very patriotic uniform for Long Island. The 0-1 of Harris is swung on and popped up. Straight away center field. Underneath it is Sean Smith. He'll take a couple of steps in and makes the catch for out number 2. So quickly 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning, and that'll bring up Lou Ford. The Ducks camouflage jerseys. Nice camo. It's really hard to describe besides them being camouflage jerseys. The Ducks script word going across their chest. The numbers are in white with an orange brim, and then white pants. And Ducks wearing their camouflage hats with a camouflage brim as well. The York Revolution going with more of a throwback jersey. It's their gold jersey with the blue and white stripes going along the chest, gray pants, and a single-tone navy hat. First pitch to Lou Ford is a fastball that misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. Lou hitting .344 this year with 12 home runs and 65 runs batted in. The 1-1. Swung on and grounded over to third. Nelson fields the short hop, takes a couple of steps, and fires it on to first in time for the final out. So the Ducks go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the first inning. No score as we head to the top of the second on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Large comfy couch that we have here at every Ducks home game. Tonight it's located right up there on the main concourse next to the press box. And those lucky fans not only are going to sit in the best seat in the house and watch the game from there all night, but they're going to get $10 power cards to go to Dave & Buster's and play some of those great games. But even better than that, anybody in their section tonight, section 212, you're going to receive $5 power cards to go to Dave & Buster's, all right? So everybody, enjoy the game, and especially you up there in the best seat in the house, brought to you by Dave & Buster's.
And now, fans, please take a look at the Duck Vision scoreboard at left center field once again. Here's a word from Acuvada Payroll.
Your business has a payroll challenge. The last thing you need is to be left on hold. Payroll providers should respond on a dime. Personalize your programs. Heck, even answer the phone. At Acuvada Payroll, we're an extension of your team. We deliver the best of both worlds. High-tech solutions with high-touch service. Relationships, not accounts.
And fans, don't forget to stop by the table located behind home plate near the sweet lobby double doors. That's the New York Life Concourse table. Bring your children with you and have them sign up for the raffle tonight of an autographed baseball.
Top of the second inning here at Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call. No score between the Long Island Ducks and the visiting York Revolution. One hit for the Revs in the top of the first inning, but John Brownell able to get out of the jam by forcing 3 consecutive ground bouts to the left side of the infield. So here in the top of the second will be the 5, 6, 7 batters for the Revolution. Bryant Nelson will lead things off, followed by Ophilio Castro and Tim Battle. Nelson, the former Duck, will bat from the left side of the plate against the righty John Brownell in his second inning of work. First pitch to Nelson, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Reminder, fans, that the camouflage jerseys that the Ducks are currently sporting are going to be auctioned off later tonight. As the 0-1 to Nelson is blooped to shallow center. In comes Lou Ford. He camps under it and makes the catch for out number 1. 1 away. That'll bring up Ophilio Castro. Fans have an opportunity to place bids on these camouflage jerseys until the 7th inning stretch, which at that time the winning bidders will be announced, and they'll get themselves some game-worn on-field jerseys. Brownell works from the windup here. The first pitch to Ophilio Castro, fastball that misses low, 1 ball and no strikes. All proceeds from the jersey auction going to the Quackerjack Foundation, the charitable arm of the Long Island Ducks. The 1-0. Fastball right down Broadway for a called strike, 1-1. Castro, a right-handed batter, hitting .242 this year, 2 home runs, and 33 runs batted in. It's been used as really a utility infielder for the Revolution. The 1-1 misses low, 2 balls and 1 strike. He's made an appearance at every position along the infield for the Revs this season. Certainly a handy guy to have, similar to the way that the Ducks have used Sergio Miranda. The 2-1 to Castro is a fastball that misses low. 3 balls and 1 strike now. Fans continue to file in here at Bethpage Ballpark. Slightly overcast and a little chillier night than you'd expect for an August 2nd evening. As the 3-1 misses low, ball 4. First walk allowed by John Brownell in tonight's ballgame. So the Revs have a 1-out base runner, and that'll bring up Tim Battle.
Hitting the 7th position, left fielder number 9.
But even with the overcast here at Bethpage Ballpark tonight, as we continue to look at the radar, there's nothing imminent. Of course, we're always on the lookout with storms in the general area, but nothing looks like it's anywhere close to Long Island right now besides just some harmless clouds. So hopefully we could get all 9 innings in tonight as the fastball misses upstairs to Tim Battle. 1 ball and no strikes. Battle starting in left field for the Revs tonight, hitting .178 this year, no home runs, and 4 runs batted in, now playing in his 12th game of the season. Right-handed batter against the righty Brownell, 1-0 from the stretch, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Infield possibly thinking about a bunt. Brendan Harris plays along the infield grass at third base. The middle infielder plays at double play depth, and Joash Brodeen holds on Ophelio Castro at first. This one's grounded over to short. Lyons fields onto Puckett for one. The turn to first in time for an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. And fans, that double play by the Ducks is brought to you by New York State Public Employees Federation, PEF, the union that cares for the community. So no score between the Ducks and the Rebs as we move to the bottom of the second inning on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Home is going to get out of here with a great prize courtesy of Long Island Sports Academy. So fans, we need to make some noise and cheer Danny on as he goes. On your mark, get set, Quackerjack. Go! You're already behind, Quackerjack. Turn around. See you later, Danny says. Oh my, Danny is heading around second, but Quackerjack really looks good tonight. He is flying and actually takes the lead at third, but something's happening. Quackerjack's been distracted. They are talking to him over there. It must be about the fireworks that are exploding. Quackerjack always gets distracted. Danny crosses home. He's our winner. Congratulations, Danny. You're going to go home with a great prize, courtesy of Long Island Sports Academy.
Baseball fans, tonight's clubhouse meal is sponsored by J&R Steakhouse. That's J&R Steakhouse with locations in Rocky Point, Medford, Calverton, Islip, and Patchogue. That's J&R Steakhouse, where it's all about the value. Long Island Ducks want to thank you for their clubhouse meal tonight. That's J&R Steakhouse, locations in Rocky Point, Calverton, Medford, Islip, and in Patchogue. We'd like to remind you the York Revolution will be here again tomorrow.
Fans, every double play that the Ducks turn this season is presented by the New York State Public Employees Federation, PEF, the problem-solving union providing health care services, mental health services, and services to the developmentally disabled. New York State Public Employees Federation, the union that cares for the community. No score here, bottom of the second inning. Mark Schwartz on the call as the Ducks host the York Revolution for a brief 3-game homestand before the Ducks hit the road once again Tuesday night to begin a 6-game road trip, 3 against the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs beginning Wednesday, and then 3 more against this very same York Revolution team starting on Saturday. Right now it's Adam Bailey who will step to the plate to lead things off for Long Island against the right-handed starting pitcher Corey Thurman. Takes the first pitch fastball in the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Ducks went down in order in the bottom of the first inning, so Bailey will look to get them along the base paths. Thurman from the windup, the 0-1. Swung on and fisted foul over the backstop and out of play. And Adam has quickly fallen behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Bailey hitting .293 this season with 12 home runs and 52 runs batted in. The lone strictly left-handed hitter on this Ducks team. And the Revolution putting on a mini shift against Bailey. At first base, Chad Tracy guards the line. And at second base, Ophelio Castro plays deep. The 0-2 to Bailey is fouled off to the backstop. Adam able to stay alive. Bailey tied with Lou Ford for the team lead in home runs with 12. It's also good for tied for 5th best in the Atlantic League. Cole Garner of the Lancaster Barnstormers trying to run away with the home run title this season. He has 20 as Bailey takes a changeup off the plate for a ball, 1-2. James Simmons of the Bridgeport Bluefish has 14 to tie him alongside Jose Julio Ruiz of the Camden River Sharks for second. But once again, it's Cole Garner running away with things with 20. The 1-2 here to Bailey off the end of the bat is flown out to straightaway center field. Sean Smith camps under it and makes the catch for out number 1. So the first 4 Ducks batters retired by Corey Thurman tonight, and that'll bring up Cody Puckett, who saw a bit of a power surge on the Ducks' 10-game road trip, which concluded last night at Campbell's Field in Camden, New Jersey. Puckett now with 6 home runs on the season. 3 of them came over the 10-game road trip. Also sports a .282 batting average and 52 runs batted in. Thurman from the windup, the first pitch, the pocket, a fastball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Cody hits from the right side, very slightly open stance. The 0-1. Swung on and flied out to center. Smith broke towards home plate initially. Now he'll take a couple of steps back and towards the right center field gap and makes the catch for out number 2. So 2 flyouts to center field to begin the bottom of the second inning for the Ducks, and that'll bring up Joash Brodin. Brodin hitting .246 this year with 5 home runs and 45 runs batted in. A switch hitter will bat from the left side against Corey Thurman, the righty, as Thurman looks to work 2 quick 1-2-3 innings to begin his night against Long Island. First pitch fastball to Brodin, however, misses high and inside, 1-0. A big crowd expected on hand here in Central Islip tonight. Again, there's a Pyrotechnico fireworks extravaganza planned after the game, as the 1-0 to Brodin on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Ducks have had 8 sellouts so far this year, looking for their 9th. Very well could get that tonight as the fans continue to file in here to the friendly confines of Bethpage Ballpark as the curveball drops in for a called strike on the inside corner to Brodin, and he's fallen behind 1-2. Thurman works from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and lined foul down the first base line. Brodin just a little in front of that changeup from Thurman, and the count stays at 1-2. Again, Thurman overall this year 6-3 with a 3.71 ERA, but he has been very strong against the Ducks to this point. Has made 3 starts against Long Island and is 2-0 in those 3 starts with a 2.65 earned run average. That's just 5 runs allowed over 17 innings of work. Here the fastball misses low and inside to Brodin, and the count runs even. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 away. No score, bottom of the second inning. Brodin steps out of the batter's box quickly. Now will step back in. Thurman from the windup. The 2-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. Nice off-speed pitch there from Corey Thurman. Gets Joash Brodin out in front. First strikeout of the ballgame, and Thurman has retired the first 6 Ducks batters in order. No score through 2 on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
If it's your first time here at the ballpark tonight, raise your hand real high if it's your first time here. All right, well, we do things a little bit differently. When it's somebody's birthday, we bring them up on the dugout, and we all sing to them. So on the count of 3, I want you all to join in and sing. Here we go. We got Alex, who's 9, Brandon, who's 10, Peter, who's 7, and Vincent, who is 5. So on 3, fans, let's go. Quacker Jack and I, and all of you are going to sing to these 4. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alex, Brandon, Peter, and Vincent. Happy birthday to you. All right, fans, now the Ducks and Kona Ice would like to wish a happy birthday to anybody else who might be in the ballpark celebrating but isn't up here on the dugout. Look right up there on the bottom of the Duck Vision scoreboard. You see those names of those people celebrating, so happy birthday to all of them as well.
And baseball fans, here's a reminder that someone here at the ballpark tonight will be walking away with $10,000 in their pocket.
Discover the difference at Huntington Honda and find Long Island's all-star lineup of over 1,200 new Hondas. Huntington Honda steps up to the plate to treat every customer with no pressure, respect, and Grand Slam service after the sale. Discover the difference and a winning buying experience at HuntingtonHondaCars.com, and then visit Huntington Honda on Jericho Turnpike just east of Route 110. John Brownell will come back to the mound for his 3rd inning of work as he'll toe off against the 8, 9, and 1 batters due up in the Revolution lineup. Leading things off and making his first at-bat of the season is Angel Flores, recently acquired catcher by the Revolution. Takes the first pitch fastball off the plate for a ball, 1-0. Brownell from the windup, and the 1-0 to Flores. Fastball misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. It's the first time that the Ducks will see Angel Flores this season. He was acquired earlier tonight. The 2-0. Fastball right down Broadway for a called strike. 2-1. Flores has played in 10 seasons of professional baseball, reaching as high as AAA in the affiliated ranks. The 2-1 to Flores misses outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Spent the beginning stages of his career in the Detroit Tigers farm system and reached AAA in 2010 with the Toledo Mud Hens. Here he takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and the count runs full to 3-2. Only appeared in 2 games with the Mud Hens in 2010, but was 3 for 8 from the plate. The last 4 seasons he's played in independent baseball. Here he takes low for ball 4. It's the second walk allowed by John Brownell tonight. And the Revolution have a leadoff base runner on for the second time tonight. Sean Smith led off the top of the first with a base hit. Here, Flores leads off with a walk, and that'll bring up the number 9 batter in the order for the Revolution, Alberto Espinoza. Espinoza hitting 156 this year with 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. Open stance from the right side of the plate as Brownell once again has to work from the stretch. First pitch to Espinoza is fouled off to the backstop, 0-1. Espinoza now making his 28th appearance of the season for the Revs, so it's not like his 156 batting average is in extremely limited amount of playing time. Has gotten good amount of playing time, splitting it alongside Salvador Paniagua, who's no longer on the Revolution team. This curveball drops in for a called strike, and he falls behind 0-2. I should correct myself. Paniagua is currently on the inactive list for the Revs. He's not no longer on the roster. He is. He's just currently inactive. One of the reasons why York brought in Angel Flores. Brownell from the stretch here. The 0-2 is grounded softly up the middle. Lions field. He steps on the bag for 1. The throw to first in time for a 6-3 double play. And fans, that double play by the Ducks is brought to you by New York State Public Employees Federation, PEF, the union that cares for the community. It's the second double play that the Ducks have turned tonight, as Dan Lyons has already had now 4 chances in the field in the first 2 2/3 innings, and he has twice turned a double play. So 2 out and nobody on, no score, top of the 3rd inning. And we'll move back to the top of the order, and Sean Smith, who blooped a base hit on the second pitch of the ball game to shallow right field. His first time up. Here he fouls off the first pitch fastball, and the count moves to 0-1. Smith now hitting .223 this year with 5 home runs and 23 RBI. The last time that the Ducks saw the Revolution, Smith was the number 9 batter in the lineup. As the 0-1 here is a fastball that's taken outside, 1-1. But a different lineup for the Revolution tonight. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, both Justin Green and Wilson Valdez currently away from the team for personal reasons. As the 1-1 to Smith is swung on and fouled off, and he falls behind 1-2. So with both Green and Valdez currently away from the team, those are 2 guys that normally hit first and second in the order respectively. Smith moves up from batting 9th to leadoff. And then Eric Patterson, who's normally a middle of the order batter for the Revolution, instead moves up to hit second. And Travis Garcia, who normally hits either 6th or 7th for the Revs, moves up to hit third. So that explains some of the lineup changes for Mark Mason tonight. The thought is that Justin Green very well could return to the team as early as tomorrow. That's not official just yet, however, as the curveball misses low. And the count runs even now to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Green currently leading the Atlantic League in hitting in front of Lou Ford, who's second. Green currently has a .377 batting average. Ford with a .344. As Smith grounds one over to second, Puckett fields the 1-hop grounder and fires it on to first in time for the final out. So Brownell gets another double play to help him out and work around a walk. No scores move to the bottom of the 3rd inning on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. Or visit Geico.com. That's Geico.com for more valuable insurance information.
All right, fans, we're down here on the third base side with two Ducks fans who'd like to get creative. We have Lauren and Amy, our contestants in tonight's A-Boss. Next great. These two are going to be creating a masterpiece back-to-back on our special A-Boss easel without using their hands or paintbrushes. After 15 seconds, whoever masterpiece is more masterful, they're going to go home with a great prize courtesy of A-Boss. All right, you ready? Fans, let's make some noise and cheer them on. We're at a ball game tonight. We're going to have some fun. On your mark, get set, get creative! Oh, that's a slow start right there. That's a slow start. We got to attack that board. Come on, Lauren. I see where Lauren's going with it right away. Amy, come on. You got to pick up the pace. You got 5 seconds left. Let's go. You are almost done. One and stop painting. All right, Lauren. I see what you did right there. I'm going to tell you right now, Amy went a little bit abstract. Got the smiley face. She is clearly more creative tonight, so congratulations. You're going home with a great prize, Amy, courtesy of A-Boss. A-Boss Paints and Decorating has been a family-owned business since 1929 and is Long Island's largest Benjamin Moore retailer.
Hey, Ducks fans, the final out of the top of the third inning was the 15th out of tonight's ball game. Did you know that a 15-minute call to Geico could save you 15% or more on your car insurance? Get a free quote today. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. Or visit geico.com today. Bottom of the third inning, no score between the Long Island Ducks and the York Revolution. Mark Schwartz on the call here on 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming at youtube.com/DucksBaseball and at liducks.com. It'll be the bottom of the order due up for the Ducks here in the last of the third, as Corey Thurman has faced 6 batters and has retired all 6 to this point. So Jan Vasquez will lead things off, followed by Sergio Miranda and Dan Lyons. Thurman from the windup, and the first pitch to the switch-hitting Vasquez, a fastball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Jan hitting .228 this year with 2 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Splitting time behind home plate with fellow Ducks catcher Brandon Bance. But he gets the start tonight as Thurman works from the windup, the 0-1. Swung on and fouled off. And Jan quickly falls behind in the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fans continuing to file in here at Bethpage Ballpark tonight in anticipation of the post-game Pyrotechnico fireworks extravaganza. The 0-2 to Vasquez is a changeup that misses low. 1 ball and 2 strike now. Again, the Ducks currently overall have a 47-45 record, but it's been a difficult start to the second half for Long Island. They won the first 2 games of the second half against the Sugar Land Skeeters, as Vasquez is out in front of a changeup for a swinging strike 3. Second strikeout for Corey Thurman. 1 away here in the bottom of the third, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Sergio Miranda. The tough beginning to this second half was highlighted mostly by a 13-game losing streak that Long Island carried from the final game of an 11-game homestand back on Wednesday, July 9th. As the first pitch here to Miranda is in there for a called strike, 0-1. And that went through the All-Star break and carried into the first 2 games of the road trip for Long Island. A 10-game road trip, which they concluded last night in Camden. As the 0-1 to Miranda is lined into center field. Over is Sean Smith. Took a bad track, and now it's over his head. Miranda rounds first, heading for second. And he'll arrive standing safely with a 1-out double. First hit of the ball game for Long Island. And Miranda helped out in large part thanks to a poor route taken by the center fielder Sean Smith. Looked like Miranda might have been jammed a little bit on that pitch, but he muscled it over Sean Smith's head, who took a couple of steps in originally and then broke towards left field, still moving closer towards home plate, and the ball just kept carrying and went over his head and fell in for a double. So Miranda's the first base runner for Long Island tonight. He'll lead off of second base with 1 out, and the number 9 batter, Dan Lyons, at the plate. Thurman works from the stretch for the first time tonight, and the fastball misses outside, 1-0. For Miranda, that's only his 7th double of the season, but he'll take it as he leads off of second base, being held on closely by Ophilio Castro. Thurman from the stretch, the 1-0 to Lyons is fouled off. off the facade of the suite level and back towards the general seating bowl. Count moves to 1-1. Dan hitting .276 this year with 2 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Ducks trying to break through against Corey Thurman here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Miranda leads off of second base. Phelan Lentini awaits on deck. The 1-1 to Lions. Change-up taken in the dirt. A nice block made by Alberto Espinoza. And the count now moves to 2-1. Corey Thurman has earned a win in each of his last 3 starts, dating back to July 18th, which was one of his better starts of the season. 7 innings of 1-run ball against the Ducks right here at the Duck Pond en route to a 5-2 victory for the Revolution. The 2-1 to Lions, the fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now moves to 3-1. In each of Thurman's last 3 starts, he has allowed no more than 2 runs in each of those starts, in the process lowering his earned run average from 4.37 down to 3.71. It's been a strong stretch for the longtime Revolution veteran. The 3-1 here to Lions has popped up foul territory, and that'll land out of play. Lions stays alive in the count as it moves to 3-2. Lions with 26 runs batted in this year, trying to get the Ducks on the scoreboard first here against a Revolution team that Long Island has certainly struggled against this season. As Thurman will turn towards second base and Sergio Miranda dives back in safely without a throw. But that certainly got the point across for Thurman as he gets Miranda to use some extra energy and gets his jersey a little dirtier. So once again, Thurman will come set, the 3-2. Swung on, popped up, foul territory, first base side. Chad Tracy over for a look, but it will land out of play. About 7 rows deep. And Lions stays alive. The count remains full at 3-2. Well, we'll keep track of the out-of-town scoreboard in the Atlantic League as we progress throughout tonight. One game has already gone official. Somerset Patriots and Camden River Sharks had a first pitch at 1:12 p.m. earlier today, and the Patriots won that ball game 7-6 over Camden. 3 other games currently, well, actually all 4 other games currently underway as the Patriots and the River Sharks are playing a doubleheader today. As Lions lines one to deep right center field, over is Smith, and he'll be called off by Eric Patterson, who makes the catch and gets the ball back along the infield quickly. So Lions gave that one a bid to right center field, but Patterson was over to make the catch. 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. And that'll move us back to the top of the order and Phelan Lentini.
Phelan Lentini, number 24.
Somerset Patriots were actually trailing in that first game earlier today, 6-4 going into the top of the 7th inning. First game of a doubleheader, so only 7 innings were planned on being played in that game. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th to turn a 6-4 deficit into a 7-6 lead. Eventually went on to win the ball game. As here, Lentini skies one to deep left center, but Smith's under it, has space, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. So no runs for Long Island on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. No score through 3 innings as we head to the top of the 4th on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
Right here on my right, we have the showman, Joe. He's ready to go. He's got the sunglasses on. The kicker is they don't know what the music they're going to dance to is. So let's find out right now. Music, please. Joe, you're on. Oh, he's calling for the crowd. Going into a little chicken dance. I like it. 5 seconds. Finish strong. All right, good job, Joe. And now we have the lovely Cindy. Fans, let's hear it. Cindy, let's go. Oh, she's shaking it. She's got it. Look at her go. She's working the crowd. 5 seconds left. Cindy, finish strong. Oh, my. Good job, my fans. It's time for you to decide. Joe, bring it in over here, Hollywood. Let's see. All right, fans, my round of applause is our winner going to be Joe. Is our winner going to be Cindy? Cindy is our
Top of the fourth inning here at Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call. No score between the Long Island Ducks and the York Revolution. Matching no run, one hit, no error lines for both York and Long Island. So John Brownell back to the mound for his fourth inning of work. Brownell has needed just 33 pitches to get through the first 3 innings against this Revolution lineup, a lineup that is quite potent but currently missing 2 of its top players. So Eric Patterson will lead things off here in the top of the fourth. 2-3-4 batters due up. First pitch to Patterson. Change up on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Patterson grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. 0-1 pitch to Eric is lined to right field straight at Phelan Lentini, who ranges to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. Well, Patterson just tomahawked that ball into right field. It stayed on a line, but it also stayed up in the air long enough for Lentini to make the catch. So 1 away in the top of the fourth, no score. And that'll bring up Travis Garcia, who also grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up back in that first inning. The Revolution have had at least 1 base runner on each of the first 3 innings of this ball game. Brownell has been able to escape danger all 3 times as the first pitch fastball for a called strike, knee-high, 0-1. Brownell has also been helped out by 2 double play groundouts. The 0-1 swung on and grounded softly over to second base. Puckett in front, fields cleanly and on to first for out number 2. So Brownell now making a bid for his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Quickly 2 away here in the top of the fourth, and that'll bring up Chad Tracy, who grounded out to third base back in the first inning in his lone at bat to this point. The right-handed batter to work against Brownell, who works from the windup. First pitch to Tracy. Fastball misses outside, 1-0. The lights are currently on here at Bethpage Ballpark, but we remain with an overcasted sky. To this point, no rain has fallen, and that's the expectation as we progress further through tonight. Changeup misses low to Tracy, and the count moves now to 2 balls and no strikes. It rained earlier today. The tarp was on the field until about 1 o'clock when it was pulled off, and you would have no idea judging by the field conditions right now, as the fastball is on the outside corner for a called strike, 2-1. Another terrific job done by the groundskeeper and crew here with the Ducks. Isaiah Lee now, the head groundskeeper here at Bethpage Ballpark, along with Kyle Carroll, his assistant, and the entire game day staff. Fastball misses low, and Tracy works ahead in the count now with 3 balls and 1 strike. Infield plays back with 2 out. The outfield straight away. The 3-1 pitch to Tracy. Fastball misses low, ball 4. Third walk tossed by John Brownell tonight. And that continues the inning for the Revolution. Gives them a 2-out base runner. And it'll bring up the number 5 batter in the lineup, Bryant Nelson. Nelson, a left-handed batter. Flew out to center field his first time up. 0 for 1. The Revolution with just 1 hit so far against Brownell, and that came as a leadoff blooper off the bat of Sean Smith in the top of the first inning. 2 pitches into this ballgame. Brownell has now walked 3 Revolution batters, however, as the first pitch fastball to Nelson's on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. The Revs now have had a base runner, at least 1 base runner in each of the first 4 innings of this ballgame, but Brownell once again looking to prevent him from reaching second base. The 0-1 curve is chopped foul. Just stays foul as Jan Vasquez popped out from behind home plate and hoped that that ball would roll into fair territory, but it remains in the left-handed batter's box and failed to move from that point. So the count moves to 0-2 with 2 away here in the top of the fourth. No score between Long Island and York in the first game of a 3-game set between these 2 teams. The 0-2 to Nelson comes well inside and brushes him off the plate. The count moves to 1-2. the last time that the Revolution will play here at Bethpage Ballpark during the regular season. Of course, there's always the possibility of the Ducks meeting the Revolution in the postseason. Right now, York already has their 2014 playoff berth wrapped up after taking the first half of the Freedom Division. So 1-2 to Nelson is grounded over to second base. Puckett in front, fields it at the edge of the outfield grass and fires it on to Joe Ash-Brodeen for the final out. So once again, Brownell works out of danger. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one runner left on base. We'll move to the bottom of the fourth inning. No score between Long Island and York on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
Trust him too much, Jennifer, all right? Fans, let's help Jennifer out. Is it going to be in box number 1, box number 2, or box number 3? Fans, what do you think? Let's go! All right, Jennifer, what do you think? Box 2? All right, I'm going to check box 3 first, all right? Let's see. All right, well, you didn't win a cordless phone. Always give you the cordless phone, but you didn't win one, so you're still in the game. Let's see. Cracker Jack, can I check that box, please? Oh, man, you really pushed that down. Oh, you didn't win an Air National Guard hat, bag, and a nice coffee or water bottle there. It is Military Appreciation Night here at the ballpark. But you did win an iPod Shuffle! Congratulations, Jennifer. You're going home that great prize courtesy of PC Richard's son.
Hey, baseball fans, please take a look at the Duck Vision scoreboard in left center field. Where's the lights, groups, and attendance? The Long Island Ducks would like to thank each group for their valuable support, especially the big group that we have from Northrop Grumman, who is tonight's...
Bottom of the fourth inning here at Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call. Thank you so much for joining us here on this somewhat cooler but still comfortable Saturday evening in Central Islip, Long Island. No score between the Long Island Ducks and the York Revolution. No runs on one hit, no errors for York. No runs on one hit, and no errors for the Ducks. It's been a pitcher's duel between Corey Thurman and John Brownell to this point. Thurman back on the rubber for the bottom of the fourth inning, and he'll work against the 2-3-4 batters due up in the Ducks order. Brendan Harris, Lou Ford, and Adam Bailey due up. John Brownell has needed just 46 pitches to get through the first 4 innings against the Rebs. Something that Brownell is somewhat accustomed to doing, not necessarily against the Revolution, but currently Brownell leads the Atlantic League in complete games this season with 4. So he'll look to make that bid. But right now, we still remain scoreless. Bottom of the fourth inning, Brendan Harris will lead off for the Ducks, and he'll take a first pitch fastball off the plate for a ball 1-0. Harris flew out to center field his first time up. 0 for 1 today. The 1-0. Swung on and skied to center. Smith's underneath it, will take a couple of steps in, stares into the overcasted sky, and makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Lou Ford, who grounded out to third base back in the first inning. The Ducks have had just 1 base runner to this point against Corey Thurman. It was a 1-out double from Sergio Miranda in the bottom of the third on a ball that probably should have been caught by the center fielder Sean Smith, but he misread it off the bat and wound up going over his head. Worked out well for Miranda's 7th double of the season. Here, Ford takes the first pitch fastball off the plate for a ball 1-0. Thurman retired the first 7 in order before that 1-out double to Miranda in the bottom of the third. The 1-0 to Lou. Fastball misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Ford bats from the right side against the righty Corey Thurman. 2-0 changeup at the knees for a called strike, 2-1. Ford in his last 10 games is hitting just .244, so he's gone into a minor slump, but still remains among league leaders in a plethora of offensive categories as he lines a base hit right on cue up the middle. Second hit of the ball game for Long Island. It'll be only the second time that Corey Thurman has had to work from the stretch tonight. Base hit right back up the middle for Lou Ford. He'll lead off of first base as that'll bring up Adam Bailey. Bailey flew out to center field his first time up. Again, tied with Lou Ford for the team lead in home runs with 12. Also tied with Cody Puckett for second on the team in RBI with 52. Bailey has played well as of late, has his batting average now up to .293 on the season. Thurman from the stretch, the first pitch to Bailey, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. During the 10-game road trip, I should say, for Long Island, which concluded last night. At one point, Adam Bailey missed 4 consecutive games with a hamstring injury. But since returning to the Ducks lineup, he has played very well. It's the 0-1 to Bailey. Fastball misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Since his return to the lineup, Bailey has picked up multi-hit games in 3 of his last 4. In those games, he's hitting 9 for 19 with 2 doubles, 2 RBI, and 2 runs scored. Thurman will throw over to first base here, and Ford back standing safely. Lou with 5 stolen bases on the season without being caught. The Ducks have been very successful along the base paths. They have 74 stolen bases as a team and have only been caught 10 times. The 1-1 to Bailey, swung on and fouled off. And Adam falls behind in the count now, 1-2. The Ducks currently find themselves third in the league in stolen bases. York leads the league with 116 as a team. Lancaster's then second with 82. But the Ducks have been caught stealing the fewest amount of times this year. Again, just 10 out of 84 potential opportunities. Thurman from the stretch with Ford leading off of first. The 1-2 to Bailey is swung on and missed, strike 3. Fastball just flat out beat Bailey there. 2 away now in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 strikeouts now for the righty Corey Thurman. And that'll bring up Cody Puckett, with Lou Ford continuing to lead off of first base. Puckett flew out to center field his first time up, 0 for 1. A right-handed batter to work against the righty Thurman. First pitch here to Puckett. Curveball drops in for a called strike, 0-1. Again, the Ducks have won 5 of their last 8 games as they try to have a bit of a resurgence after dropping 13 straight at one point here in the second half. Currently 6 games behind the Somerset Patriots for first place in the Liberty Division, second half standings, as Thurman throws over to first and Ford back standing safely. Infield plays back with 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Light's starting to take a little more dominance in illuminating the field as the fastball misses outside, 1-1. Bryant Nelson's guarding the line down the third base line, while the middle infielders are playing relatively straight up. There is some space for Cody Puckett along the right side of the infield if he wanted to go that way, with Chad Tracy holding on Lou Ford. The 1-1 slider is flown out to right. Pretty well hit, but it'll stay up in the air long enough for Eric Patterson to make the catch and retire the side. So no runs for the Ducks on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Through 4 innings, we remain scoreless between Long Island and York on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Rubino at third is going to go home with a great prize, courtesy of Atlantic Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. So guys, are you ready? Fans, cheer them on as they go. On your mark, get set, go! And they are off. Nick takes right over the good start on the orange tricycle. I'm going to tell you right now, Joe is starting to get the hang of it. But Nick seems to be pulling away as he rounds second base. Joe's a little bit all over the place right here, but now he's got him. Look at him go. But Nick is heading in the home stretch. Looks like he is going to be our winner. Getting confident with the one hand up at the end. He's the first one there. Congratulations, Nick. You're going home with a great prize, courtesy of Atlantic Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, where nobody sees you more.
And baseball fans, we'd like to give a very special hello and a howdy-doody-do to the fans from Citibank, We're partying down in the Smoking House party deck area tonight. Now, if you'd like to party with the Long Island Ducks, then why wouldn't you? Then stop by the Long Island Ducks ticket kiosk on the main concourse behind home plate. To get more information about this exclusive party area, it's the ultimate way to enjoy a Long Island Ducks game. Just like the gang from Citibank, who are in the Smoking House party deck area. Have a great time tonight while you're here at the ballpark.
Fans, don't forget to stop by the Waddle Inn Shop on your next visit to the Duck Pond, where exclusive, hard-to-find Ducks memorabilia is now on sale. Proceeds benefit the Quackerjack Foundation, the charitable arm of the Long Island Ducks. Top of the 5th inning now at Bethpage Ballpark. A pitcher's duel between Long Island and York. No score. John Brownell and Corey Thurman have gone blow for blow so far to this point. Brownell has needed just 46 pitches to get through the first 4 innings against the Revolution, allowing just 1 hit while walking 3 and has yet to strike out a batter. Corey Thurman has been very strong in his own right for the Revs, as the first pitch here to Ophelio Castro is a fastball that misses outside 1-0. Thurman through 4 innings has allowed just 2 hits with no walks and 3 strikeouts, and has needed 47 pitches to get through his first 4. As Brownell's fastball misses outside to Castro, and the count moves to 2-0. Ophelio walked in his lone plate appearance to this point, as Brownell works from the windup to 2-0. Fastball in there for a called strike, 2-1. If you're listening at home, you might recognize that the breaks in between innings are a little shorter than they have been earlier this season. The 2-1 to Castro is fouled off down the first base line out of play, and the count runs even at 2-2. The main reason for that is because the Atlantic League is currently pursuing its pace of play initiative, in which there are currently 5 noticeable changes that the Atlantic League has made to try to speed up the pace of play in all of their games. As the fastball here is at the knees for a called 3rd strike. First strikeout for John Brownell tonight. 1 away here in the top of the 5th, and that'll bring up Tim Battle. Battle's 0 for 1, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 2nd inning. But to go into specifics about the pace of play initiative here in the Atlantic League, currently 5 changes of note. The first one is that pitchers in between innings are now allowed only 6 warm-up pitches, as the first pitch fastball here to Tim Battle's at the knees for a called strike, 0-1. It had previously been 8 pitches allowed to a pitcher returning in between innings, but now it's just 6. The fastball misses outside here, 1-1. Other changes, teams now are allowed just 3 mound visits over the course of the entire game. That does not include a mound visit in which you make a pitching change, as Battle tops one foul down the first base line, 1-2. So basically, the mound visits are used almost as a timeout, and you're allowed 3 timeouts over the course of a game. So anytime a pitching coach comes out to the mound to talk things over with the pitcher, or the manager comes out not to make a pitching change but just to talk strategy, as the 1-2 to Battle is swung on and missed, strike 3. Tailing fastball beats Tim Battle, and John Brownell has struck out the first 2 batters here in the top of the 5th inning. So 2 out, nobody on, and that'll bring up Angel Flores, who walked his first time up. In addition to a pitching coach or a manager coming out to the mound counting as a timeout, also if, say, a catcher just were to walk out to the mound to talk things over, or if there was an infielder that went over to the mound, that too would count as a timeout, as the curveball here to Flores misses inside, 1-0. And you're only allowed 3 of those over the course of the game, which is supposed to help in speeding up the ball game, as the fastball here misses outside, 2-0. Also, there will be more of an emphasis on umpires calling the high strike, which is something that normally isn't too emphasized here. The fastball is on the outside corner for a called strike, 2-1. So on pitches higher in the strike zone, that might be letter high. The definition of the rule is that letter high still counts as a strike. So there's more of an emphasis for the umpires now to call that high strike, as well as there's more of an emphasis on enforcing the 12-second rule for pitchers, meaning if there's nobody on base, a pitcher has to throw the ball within 12 seconds of getting it back from the catcher, as Flores chops one foul here, and the count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oftentimes you'll see a pitcher step out to the mound, stare in for the call, and then step off the rubber, take off the hat, wipe off some sweat from his brow, and then step back on, and then a little cat and mouse between the batter and the pitcher, and you step out, now I'll step out. There'll be more of an enforcement on the 12-second rule now with this pace of play initiative, as the 2-2 to Flores misses low and inside, and the count runs full to 3-2. And the final change will be when it comes to intentional walks. No longer will you have to throw the 4 pitches outside to enforce the intentional walk, as Flores skies one foul down the right field line. That'll land out of play, and the count remains full. Instead, when a pitcher wants to intentionally walk a batter, all he'll have to do is just signal to the umpire saying that he wants an intentional walk. And so he'll not have to throw the pitches. Instead, the batter will automatically be granted first base. Here the 3-2 is popped up, foul territory, right field side. And once again, that'll land out of play. And Flores able to stay alive at the count. So those are the 5 pace of play rules that are currently in effect. They began yesterday when the Ducks took on the Camden River Sharks, a game which lasted 2 hours and 45 minutes. And these pace of play changes will be in effect for the remainder of the 2014 season, as Flores pops one up along the infield. Joash Brodin underneath it at first base to make the catch and retire the side. So John Brownell gets his first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Move to the bottom of the 5th, halfway home. No score between Long Island and York on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
One right in his hands, he's so strong. 3, good job! Congratulations, Joe and Anthony. You two have won a great prize courtesy of Huntington Honda. Huntington Honda, discover the difference.
And baseball fans, you only have 2 more innings to place your bid on this year's special patriotic jerseys that the Long Island Ducks are wearing this evening. Those same jerseys are being auctioned off to benefit the Crackerjack Foundation, the charitable arm of the Long Island Ducks. Just visit the tables in front of the Bottle-In shop on the main concourse behind home plate to bid on your favorite Long Island Ducks jersey for helping a great cause, and you could be walking away wearing that jersey tomorrow. Remember, the bidding ends in the middle of the 7th inning. All donations are tax deductible.
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz here on the call on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM, LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming both at liducks.com and youtube.com/DucksBaseball. No score between the Ducks and the Revolution in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors for York. No runs on 2 hits, and no errors for Long Island. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Corey Thurman will come back to the mound for his 5th inning of work as he toes off against the 6, 7, 8 batters due up for Long Island. Joash Brodin, Jan Vasquez, and Sergio Miranda. Thurman has needed just 47 pitches to get through the first 4 innings of tonight's ball game, as both him and John Brownell have exchanged goose eggs to this point. But the Ducks will look to change that. They've had a base runner on in each of the last 2 innings. As Thurman works from the windup, and the first pitch to Joash Brodin is grounded over to first. Chad Tracy fields cleanly and will step on the bag for out number 1. So a 3 unassisted begins the bottom of the 5th inning for Long Island. That'll bring up Jan Vasquez, who struck out swinging his first time up. 0 for 1 today. Thurman retired the first 7 Ducks batters in order before Sergio Miranda broke up the perfecto with a double over the center fielder Sean Smith's head with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. Here Vasquez bluffs a bunt but takes a fastball at the knees for a called strike. 0-1 now to Vasquez. Speaking of perfectos, I shouldn't really say perfecto, but right now for the Mets, Jacob deGrom, the rookie pitcher, is not allowed to hit through the first 5 innings, as Vasquez swings through the changeup 0-2. So, of course, us being in a New York market, we'll keep track of that as the night progresses. The Mets have thrown 1 no-hitter in franchise history. That was tossed by Johan Santana back in 2012. And aptly nicknamed Nohan. The 0-2 to Vasquez is fouled off down the third base side, out of play. And the count stays at no balls and 2 strikes. Sergio Miranda awaits on deck for Long Island. As Thurman works from the windup here, the 0-2 to Vasquez. Curveball just misses off the plate. Thurman tried to go backdoor with that one, but wasn't able to get it to land in the strike zone, so the count moves to 1-2. As Thurman once again will work from the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off over the backstop and out of play. The count remains 1-2. Thurman once again from the windup here, the 1-2 pitch. Changeup taken low. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. This is the first of a 3-game series between Long Island and York. It'll be Bobby Blevins on the rubber for the Ducks tomorrow against Logan Williamson for the Revolution. That'll be a 5:05 first pitch and a Sunday family fun day here at the ballpark. The 2-2 to Vasquez misses low and inside, and that runs the count full at 3-2. So before the game, everyone's welcomed on the field for an autograph session with the entire team right in front of the Ducks dugout. That'll go from 4:15 to 4:30. And then after the game, kids and kids at heart are welcomed on the field to run the bases, presented by Bethpage Federal Credit Union. Thurman works from the windup. The 3-2 comes inside and hits Vasquez on the thigh. So the first hit batsman of the ball game, Jan Vasquez, will take first base, and it's the 3rd consecutive inning in which Long Island has had a base runner. And it's the first time that the Ducks have had a base runner that did not reach on a hit. So the Ducks with a 1-out base runner here in the bottom of the 5th inning, still deadlocked. No score between Long Island and York. And Sergio Miranda, the designated hitter, at the plate. Another switch hitter for Long Island, bats from the left side against Corey Thurman. First pitch to Miranda, a fastball that misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Again, it was Sergio with a double over the head of the center fielder, Sean Smith, back in the bottom of the 3rd inning, which broke up a streak of 7 consecutive retired by Corey Thurman to begin the ball game. As here, Miranda slaps one foul, 1-1. It was a ball that Smith probably should have caught. Took his first couple of steps in towards home plate, but the ball continued to carry, wound up going over his head towards left center field, and fell in over Smith for a double. Wind's not blowing too hard at Bethpage Ballpark tonight, but if it is, it's blowing slightly out towards left field. The 1-1 to Miranda is a fastball that misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, a large crowd on hand here at Bethpage Ballpark for the post-game fireworks, as well as Military Appreciation Night. Official attendance at Bethpage Ballpark. Currently 6,438 fans. It's the 9th sellout of the season for Long Island. Vasquez takes off as Miranda slaps one to shallow center. In comes Sean Smith. He makes the catch. Vasquez will have to race back towards first, and it's not in time as the throw from Smith doubles off Vasquez to end the inning. An 8-3 double play ends the inning for the Revolution and keeps us scoreless through 5 on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Great rates for great rides. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
Okay, baseball fans, it's time to announce our social media winner of the evening. Congratulations to Twitter user at DP Forrester. That's Twitter user at DP Forrester. You've just won 4 tickets to a Long Island Ducks game. Please report to the Newsday Customer Service Center on the lane coming course behind home plate to claim your prize. Once again, the winner is Twitter user at DP Forrester. Thank you to everyone who took part in our social media contest this evening. And if you don't already, make sure you follow the Long Island Ducks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more great promotions and information on your Long Island Ducks.
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Fans, follow all season long as the Long Island Ducks try and meet the Chappie's Home Run Challenge. If the Ducks hit 100 home runs, Chappie's Funeral Homes will donate $5,000 to the Quackerjack Foundation. Chappie's Funeral Homes, where caring for others is our family tradition. No score through 5 innings at the Duck Pond. Mark Schwartz on the call, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming at liducks.com and youtube.com/ducksbaseball. John Brownell has thrown 63 pitches through the first 5 innings and has allowed just 1 hit, along with 3 walks and 2 strikeouts to keep the Revolution off the scoreboard. Coming off the heels of his first 1-2-3 inning. That came back in the top of the 5th. So here he'll work against the 9-1-2 batters for the Revolution. As the first pitch to Alberto Espinoza is a fastball that misses outside, 1-0. Another interesting occurrence right now in the Mets-Giants game, as the 1-0 to Espinoza is skied to shallow right field. Out goes Cody Puckett, camps underneath it, and makes the catch for out number 1. That'll bring us back to the top of the order, and Sean Smith. Jake Peavy, making his first start of the season for the San Francisco Giants, has retired the first 15 Met batters in order through the first 5 innings. So Jacob deGrom has a no-hitter going for the Mets through the first 5, while Jake Peavy has a perfect game through 5 innings. So we'll be sure to continue to monitor that as the night progresses. But right now we have a pitcher's duel here at the Duck Pond between John Brownell and Corey Thurman. First pitch fastball's in there for a called strike to Sean Smith, 0-1. At first he bluffed a bunt and then started to run towards home plate to try to drop down a drag bunt. He pulled it back at the last second, and the ball nearly hit him because he was almost on top of home plate. The 0-1 slider here misses outside, 1-1. Smith is 1 for 2. He is the lone hit of the ball game for the Revolution. A blooper, 2 pitches into the ball game. Here the curveball drops in for a called strike. A nice looking breaking ball there from John Brownell. Has him head in the count now, 1-2. Just caught the black on the inside part of the plate. Sean Smith disagreed, but Derek Moshe has been calling that all night long. So Brownell from the windup, the 1-2. Slider just misses off the plate. Just missed outside, and that'll run the count full at 2-2. Sorry, even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brownell from the windup. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off over the screen, out of play down the first base line. The count stays at 2-2. Brownell won his last start. That was against the Bridgeport Bluefish back on July 28th, in which he tossed 7 1/3 innings, allowed 4 runs, 3 earned on 10 hits. The 2-2 here is swung on and missed strike 3. Third strikeout for John Brownell. Gets Sean Smith out in front of a slider. And now there's 2 away here in the top of the 6th inning, and that'll bring up the number 2 batter in the lineup, Eric Patterson. So after Brownell did not record a strikeout in the first 4 innings of tonight's ballgame, he now has 3 strikeouts in the last inning and 2/3. The left-handed hitting Patterson, a very dangerous batter, will step in. First pitch to Patterson. Fastball misses low and inside, 1-0. Patterson ripped a line drive to right field his last time up. He tomahawked the ball, fastball high in the strike zone. As the 1-0 here is swung on and missed, 1-1. But unfortunately for Patterson and the Revolution, the ball was hit directly at the Ducks right fielder Phelan Lentini, who barely had to move to make the catch. The 1-1. Swung on, grounded over to second. Cody Puckett plays the long hop and will fire it on to first base in time for the final out. So another 1-2-3 inning worked by John Brownell. He's retired the last 7 in order. And we remain scoreless as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Here with me is Jennifer from Sayville. Jennifer, turn around, let the crowd see you. Jennifer's going to get the first part of the song, and all she has to do is step in and finish it, and she'll go home with a great prize, courtesy of Core, BTS Alcatel-Lucent. So are you ready? Fans, you can join in and sing if you know the song. Help her out. Here we go. Music, please. Congratulations, you're going home with a great prize, courtesy of Core BTS Alcatel-Lucent. IT starts here.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee.
Hey, boys and girls, congratulations to tonight's Bethpage Kids Club winner is Jared Saylor. Jared Saylor, congratulations from the Long Island Ducks. Just stop by the Long Island Ducks ticket kiosk, main concourse, behind home plate, to claim your prize.
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call here in the bottom of the 6th inning. No score between the Long Island Ducks and the visiting York Revolution. Just 3 hits in total through the first 5.5 innings of tonight's ball game. John Brownell and Corey Thurman have both been very strong on the mound. As Thurman returns for the bottom of the 6th, he'll work against the 9-1-2 batters in the order for the Ducks. Dan Lyons, then back to the top of the order, Phelan Lentini and Brendan Harris due up. No runs on 1 hit, no errors for York, no runs on 2 hits, and no errors for Long Island. The Ducks have had at least 1 base runner on in each of the last 3 innings, but have failed to capitalize against the 7-year York Revolution veteran, who is pitching his 4th straight solid game for York, and it's the 4th consecutive time that he's gone up against the Ducks in which he's pitched very well. First pitch here to Dan Lyons is a fastball that misses off the plate, 1-0. Just to keep track of the Mets game as well, Jacob deGrom currently has a no-hitter now through 6 innings over at Citi Field as the Mets take on the San Francisco Giants. The 1-0 to Dan Lyons is in there for a called strike, 1-1. The interesting part of that also is that Jake Peavy currently has a perfect game going through 5. So you got 2 no-hitters going on in that Mets game currently through the first 5.5 innings as Dan Lyons chops one foul down the third base line here. And the count moves to 1-2. Dan flew out to right field his first time up. He's 0 for 1 today. 2 hits in the ballgame for Long Island. First one was a 1-out double by Sergio Miranda in the bottom of the 3rd. And Lou Ford had a base hit up the middle in the bottom of the 4th. Ducks have had 1 runner in scoring position tonight. The Revolution have not yet had a runner in scoring position against John Brownell. The 1-2 to Lyons, a curveball that misses low. And the count runs even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check the out-of-town scoreboard in the Atlantic League, as currently all 8 teams are underway. We already have 1 game final, as the Somerset Patriots and the Camden River Sharks are playing a doubleheader over at Campbell's Field in southern New Jersey today. Thurman works from the windup here. The 2-2 to Lions. Fastball misses upstairs. And the count runs full at 3-2. The Patriots defeated the Camden River Sharks 7-6 in 7 innings earlier today in Game 1 of that doubleheader. Currently in Game 2, the Patriots lead the River Sharks 4-1 in the top of the 5th inning. 3-2 to Lions. Swung on and lifted deep left field. Back goes Battle. Warning track at the wall. It's gone! A solo home run for Dan Lyons gives Long Island a 1-0 lead. Lions' 3rd home run of the season, and the Ducks have broken through here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead it 1-0. Long Island getting a spark from the bottom of their order. Dan Lyons takes Corey Thurman deep for a leadoff solo home run here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Flock are now in front 1-0. A majestic shot off the bat of Dan Lyons. Kept carrying in left field and eventually landed over the King Cullen advertisement for his 3rd home run of the season. Phelan Lentini takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike from Corey Thurman. And the 1-0 to Lentini is lifted to center field. That'll stay in play as Smith ranges in and makes the catch for out number 1. But deadlocked no longer here at the Duck Pond as Dan Lyons gets the Ducks crowd into it with a solo home run, his 3rd of the season. In fact, Lyons' first home run of the season came against this very same York Revolution team in late June. And at that point, it was Lyons' first home run in over 2 years. But since that point, Dan has now hit 3 home runs total and has given Long Island a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch fastball to Brendan Harris, misses low and outside, 1-0. Lyons also had a home run over the 10-game road trip for the Ducks recently, so he's starting to turn things around at the plate as the fastball is in there for a called strike, 1-1. Dan also had a very strong play in the field back in the top of the 1st inning, a full extension dive to his right to rob Eric Patterson of a base hit and force Sean Smith out at second base. And in retrospect, you could look back at that moment in this ball game, and that was pretty important. The 1-1 to Harris is flared to the right side of the infield. Back towards shallow right goes Chad Tracy. Miscommunication, and it drops in for a base hit. That was a play that should have been made either by Chad Tracy at first base or Ophelio Castro at second. But it landed in that Bermuda Triangle between the first baseman, the second baseman, and the right fielder. And Brendan Harris now has reached base safely in 26 consecutive games. It'll be ruled a single for Brendan Harris, the 4th hit of the ball game for Long Island. Initially, it was Tracy was ranging back, and it looked like he was calling off Castro to make the play on that one, but the ball kept on drifting further and further back towards right field. Castro came over from second base, and then at the last second, Tracy backed off from the play. Castro wasn't close enough to make the catch, and it dropped in for a base hit. So here's Lou Ford. First pitch to Lou. Change up on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. So 2 hits in this inning for Long Island has given them a 1-0 lead over the Revolution, and they're looking for more. Harris will lead off of first base. He's now 1 for 3 in the ballgame, and again has reached safely in 26 consecutive games. It's the longest current on-base streak in the Atlantic League as Lou Ford takes a fastball low, and the count moves to 1-1. Harris has yet to steal a base for the Ducks this year. Has a nice-sized lead, being held on by Chad Tracy, and Corey Thurman will throw over. Harris back standing safely. Harris really the lone everyday player in this Ducks lineup that has yet to steal a base. The 1-1. Fastball misses upstairs to Ford. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Lou's 1 for 2 so far today. Grounded out to third base in the first inning. Had a base hit right back up the middle in the 4th. right-handed batter against the righty Corey Thurman, who's found himself in a little more danger here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 2-1 to Ford is fisted foul and directly towards the backstop. The count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A leadoff solo home run from Dan Lyons here in the bottom of the 6th inning. One of the more unlikely sources for power from the Ducks has broken through and given Long Island a 1-0 lead. We had remained scoreless through the first 5.5 innings of this ball game in a pitcher's duel between Corey Thurman and John Brownell. But it's the Ducks that currently lead 1-0 and looking for more. The 2-2 pitch to Lou Ford. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Thurman beats him with the fastball. It's the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Corey Thurman. Now 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th, and that'll bring up the cleanup batter, Adam Bailey. By the way, if you're multitasking and keeping track both of this Ducks game and of the Mets game, Jake Peavy has now retired all 18 batters that he has faced against the Mets in the first 6 innings of that ball game. So Peavy's got a perfect game through 6, and Jacob deGrom has a no-hitter through 6 in the same ball game, which is very impressive, as the first pitch here to Adam Bailey is a fastball that hits the outside corner, for a called strike 0-1. Bailey's 0 for 2 so far today. Has had multiple hits in 3 of his last 4 games since returning from a hamstring injury. Has his batting average up to .291 now as he skies one foul down the left field line, and that will land out of play, and the count moves to 0-2. Reminder that there's a post-game pyrotechnico fireworks extravaganza planned tonight, presented by Northrop Grumman on Military Appreciation Night at the ballpark. Brendan Harris leads off of first base. Adam Bailey at the plate. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball just misses off the plate. And the count moves to 1-2. Also the Ducks wearing their commemorative patriotic camouflage uniforms, which will be auctioned off after the game. Actually, the auction ends right at the 7th inning stretch tonight, so fans only have about another 4 outs to work with to place a bid to try to get one of these authentic game-worn jerseys. Bailey swings through the changeup for strike 3, and that will retire the side. But Long Island grabs the lead here in the bottom of the 6th on a solo home run from Dan Lyons, his 3rd of the season. Flock lead 1-0 as we move to the top of the 7th on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
Out here with me, we have AJ, Aiden, and Gavin. Are we ready, guys? On your mark, get set, get messy! And they are going right at it. Gavin is twisted. I love it. AJ's doing a good job, too. Look at this. Gavin is right in the mix. We got 7 seconds left, guys. Make a mess. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Faces up. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is going to be a tough one, I can tell you right now. Fans, by the loudest round of applause, who's our winner? Is it going to be AJ? All right, AJ, that's a good job. Is it going to be Aiden? Aiden, that's, oh, I'm sorry. Good job, Aiden. Aiden! You know what? Clearly, Gavin, they picked Aiden. But that's okay, because you made a mess and had some fun.
Top of the 7th inning here at Bethpage Ballpark. Fans, warm up with a hot cup of Hampton Coffee Company Gourmet Iced Coffee, available right now at our concession stands. Regular and decaf, Hampton Coffee is the preferred coffee of the Long Island Ducks. Visit HamptonCoffeeCompany.com or visit their cafes in the Hamptons. Long Island leads 1-0 over the York Revolution. Mark Schwartz on the call here on 103.9 FM, LI News Radio. Also, live audio and video streaming at liducks.com and youtube.com/DucksBaseball. Dan Lyons with a solo home run in the bottom of the 6th inning has provided the difference in this ball game to this point, as John Brownell has been equally impressive on the hill for Long Island. Travis Garcia will lead things off here in the top of the 7th inning, as Brownell has needed just 74 pitches to get through the first 6 innings against the Revs. First pitch fastball misses outside to Garcia, 1-0. Travis is 0 for 2 today, grounded into a fielder's choice in the first, and grounded out to second base in the 4th. The 1-0 is lined to center field deep. Back goes Lou Ford, but he'll have space. And in left center field makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Chad Tracy, who's 0 for 1. He walked his last time up. Tracy, a right-handed batter to work against John Brownell, who's trying to get back on the right foot. He's struggled against the York Revolution so far this season. Again, in 3 starts against the Revs entering tonight's ball game, he is 0-3 with a 6.25 ERA. As the first pitch fastball to Tracy misses outside, 1-0. But Brownell has been as strong as you can ask for to this point, allowing just 1 hit and keeping the Revs off the scoreboard. Changeup here misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Tracy certainly a dangerous batter at the plate, working against Brownell here, the 2-0. Fastball misses outside. And now Tracy has worked ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Brownell has walked 3 batters so far in this ball game. Again, has allowed just 1 hit. The 3-0. Fastball on the inside corner for a called strike, 3-1. Tracy with 65 runs batted in on the year for the Revolution. That leads the team. 1 ahead of Eric Patterson, who has 64. Here he skies 1 foul down the right field line. And that'll run the count full at 3-2. The 65 RBI for Tracy ties him with Lou Ford for 2nd in the Atlantic League. Cole Garner currently leads the league with 68 runs batted in. It's been a fantastic season for Cole Garner over with the Lancaster Barnstormers. Of course, he's playing at Clipper Magazine Stadium, which doesn't necessarily hurt his offensive numbers, to put it lightly. Very short porch over in right field in that ballpark. So the 3-2 here is chopped foul. Tracy just able to get a piece of it to stay alive. The count remains full. Now, midway through the season, we were really looking at Cole Garner and Lou Ford as 2 Triple Crown candidates in the Atlantic League. Ford currently ranks 2nd in runs batted in and batting average, and 5th in home runs, as the fastball from Brownell misses low for ball 4. There's the 4th walk allowed by Browdy tonight. And that breaks off a streak of 8 consecutive retired by the 3rd-year Duck. So the Revolution have a base runner on for the first time since Tracy drew a 2-out walk back in the top of the 4th. And that'll bring up Bryant Nelson, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Brownell has forced the Revolution to ground into 2 double plays already in this ball game. 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 3rd. Helped him navigate his way through a little more difficult beginning of the ball game. Here the fastball to Nelson misses inside, 1-0. Brownell could certainly use another one here with the Ducks on top, 1-0 in the top of the 7th inning. Trying to hold on to this lead against the York Revolution team that has played him very close all season long. The 1-0 to Nelson on the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Nelson, the former Duck, played 2 years with Long Island and won 2 consecutive Atlantic League championships. Of course, he won championship with the York Revolution back in 2011 as well. Certainly been accustomed to a lot of success here in the Atlantic League. The 1-1 curve is grounded fair down the first base line past Joash Brodin. Chad Tracy will go 1st to 3rd. It's a base hit for Bryant Nelson, only the 2nd hit of the ball game for the Revs. And now York with runners on the corners and just 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning, and Ophelio Castro stepping to the plate. Hot shot off the bat of Bryant Nelson. It wasn't too far to the right of Joash Brodin, but far enough and hit sharply enough that Brodin wasn't able to make the play on it. Jan Vasquez will briefly come out from behind home plate just to give directions over towards the Ducks infield. You have runners on the corners and one out. Let's see how the Ducks play. It looks like the middle infield will play back at double play depth, and the corner infielders will play at normal playing depth. Brendan Harris backs off at third base. Joash Brodin holds on Nelson at first. First pitch here to Castro, a fastball that misses outside, 1-0. Well, it's the first time tonight now that the Revolution have had a runner in scoring position, and it's the first time that they've had a runner at third base as well. Brownell trying to work his way through this inning and keep the Ducks in front. The 1-0 to Castro, a fastball at the knees for a called strike, 1-1. Castro's 0 for 1 today. He walked back in the second inning, struck out looking in the fifth. Brownell with 3 strikeouts in this ball game. Nelson doesn't have great speed at first base, but he's held on by Joash Brodin to keep him honest. The 1-1. Bloop to shallow right field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. In to score from third base is Chad Tracy. It's an RBI single for Ofelio Castro, and the Revolution have tied up the ball game at 1 here in the top of the 7th inning. 34th run batted in of the season for Castro. So a walk, a sharply hit base hit to right field, and a blooper to shallow right has evened up this ball game. Runners at first and second with 1 out, and that'll bring up Tim Battle, who's 0 for 2. Has grounded into a double play and struck out swinging. Well, it's always important after your team grabs the lead to try to put up a 0 that very next half inning and try to keep that momentum going, but Brownell unable to do so here. As the first pitch to Battle just misses outside, 1-0. Brownell got Travis Garcia to fly out to center field to begin the inning, but a walk to Chad Tracy and a base hit to Bryant Nelson, and Ofelio Castro has evened up the game at 1. Here the changeup misses upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. And this is an interesting situation now in this ball game. And remember the new rules for the pace of play initiative in the Atlantic League. Teams are only allowed 3 mound visits that do not result in pitching changes over the course of a ball game. So you got to monitor those and decide when you really want to go out and talk things over with your pitcher. As the fastball here from Brownell crosses the plate knee high for a called strike, 2-1. Both the Ducks and the Revolution have not yet used any of their timeouts in this ball game to this point. So we'll see how manager Kevin Baez decides to navigate this inning. Brownell from the stretch, the 2-1. Swung on and grounded over to short, could be 2. Lyons will field it and throw it over to third base as Brendan Harris, unaware of where the bag was, applies the tag to Bryant Nelson. Smart play by Dan Lyons. He was charging in on the grounder and probably would not have had an opportunity to turn 2. So instead he gets the force out over at third base to get the lead runner out. It's a fielder's choice for Tim Battle. Scored 6-5. Retires Bryant Nelson from the base paths and advances Ofelio Castro over to second. So runners remain at first and second now with 2 out in the top of the 7th. We're all tied up at 1. And that'll bring up the number 8 batter in the order, Angel Flores. Again, in his first game of the season with the York Revolution. First pitch from Brownell, curveball drops in for a called strike, 0-1. So Castro leads off of second, Battle off of first. Adequate speed along the base paths for the Revolution, who are looking to gain a lead for the first time tonight. The 0-1 from Brownell. Fastball swung on and fouled off. And Flores has fallen behind 0-2. The Ducks grabbed a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning on a solo home run from Dan Lyons, but the Revolution have responded here in the top of the 7th on an RBI single from Ofelio Castro to even up the ball game. They still threaten with runners at first and second and 2 out. Brownell trying to work himself out of further damage. Infield plays back with 2 out, the outfield straight away. The 0-2 pitch to Flores. Fastball misses well outside. 1-2. It's an important 3 games for the Ducks here at home before they hit the road for 6 more. It's currently a stretch in which Long Island is playing 16 of 19 games on the road. The 1-2 to Flores is grounded softly up the middle. Lyons fields and flips it onto second base for the force out, and that will retire the side. But a run scores for the Revolution on an RBI base hit from Ophilio Castro. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We'll stretch and then move to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Ducks and the Revolution tied at 1 on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Can I get an extra 30 seconds on this one, please, Chris? They're doing God Bless America. Thank you.
Great job. Now, fans, we have you all up on your feet. Stay there. It's time for the 7th inning stretch, and we here at the Ducks want everybody to be healthy. So right now, let's get our arms and stretch them way up high. All right, down to the ground. Good job.
All right, that's good.
Little stretch to the left. Big stretch to the right. And now on the count of 3, I want all of you to join us in our rendition of Take Me Out to the Ballgame. All right, guys, let's go. Face the crowd. Let them see you on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Seventh inning stretch here at the Duck Pond. 1-1 is the score between the York Revolution and the Long Island Ducks. Mark Schwartz here on the call on 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Also live audio and video streaming at liducks.com and youtube.com/ducksbaseball. 1-1 is the score. The Ducks grabbed a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th on a solo home run from Dan Lyons, his 3rd of the season. But the Revolution had to even up the ball game in the top of the 7th on an RBI single from Ophilio Castro. So that's where we currently stand. John Brownell has thrown 97 pitches to get through 7 innings against the Revolution. And we have seen plenty times this year Brownell go well north of 100 pitches, so it would come as no surprise if he came back out for the top of the 8th. Though he did run into a little more trouble in the top of the 7th inning, allowing a walk, 2 hits, and 1 run to tie up the ball game. So here, Cody Puckett will lead things off. It's Puckett followed by Joash Brodin and Jan Vasquez, the 5, 6, 7 batters, due up for the Ducks. And Corey Thurman back on the hill to work his 7th inning of the ballgame. He'll work from the windup against Cody Puckett. First pitch fastball at the knees for a called strike, 0-1. Quick update on the Mets-Giants game, as Pablo Sandoval, with a 2-out double in the top of the 7th inning, broke up Jacob deGrom's no-hitter, as the fastball here to Puckett misses outside, 1-1. And in the bottom of the 7th inning, Daniel Murphy with a double off of Jake Peavy to break up Peavy's perfect game. The 1-1 to Puckett is skied out to center field. Under it is Sean Smith, has plenty of space, and he makes the catch for out number 1. So after both pitchers in that Mets-Giants game had carried at least a no-hitter through the first 6 innings of the ballgame, both the no-hitter and the perfect game are now gone. Still scoreless between the Mets and the Giants in the bottom of the 7th, but the perfect game and the no-hitter are gone in that one. Here we've still had a very strong pitcher's duel between Corey Thurman and John Brownell. 1-1's the score in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 out, nobody on base. Joash Brodin will step to the plate and takes a first pitch changeup in there for a called strike, 0-1. Brodin's 0 for 2 so far. He struck out swinging in the 2nd inning, grounded out to first base unassisted in the 5th. The 0-1. Curveball doesn't break, stays high and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. A run on 3 hits for the Revs, a run on 4 hits for the Ducks. No errors have been committed by either side to this point. The 1-1. Fastball misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Thurman has now thrown 86 pitches, about to throw his 87th of the ballgame. So both starting pitchers have been very economical with their pitch count to this point. The 2-1 to Brodin. Swung on and blooped. Shallow left field. Racing back is Travis Garcia. And in foul territory, he makes the catch for out number 2. Garcia hustling off the bat there. And able to run it down in foul territory down the left field line. 2 away, nobody on, bottom of the 7th inning. And that'll bring up Jan Vasquez, who is 0-for-1. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. The Ducks have had just 5 base runners against Corey Thurman in this ballgame so far. 2 of them have come for extra base hits. Sergio Miranda double in the bottom of the 3rd and a solo home run from Dan Lyons in the 6th. As Vasquez swings through the first pitch changeup, 0-1. Infield plays straight up against the switch-hitting Vasquez, who hits better from the left side of the plate than he does from the right. Another switch hitter awaits on deck in the form of Sergio Miranda. The 0-1 to Vasquez misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, another very strong crowd on hand here at Bethpage Ballpark. As everyone certainly excited not only for this game, but also for the Pyrotechnico Fireworks Extravaganza presented by Northrop Grumman, planned after the game. The 1-1 to Vasquez. Fastball at the knees, outside corner for a called strike, 1-2. 6,438 is the announced attendance at the Duck Pond tonight. It's the 9th sellout of the season for Long Island. The Ducks, of course, the only team in the history of the Atlantic League to welcome 6 million fans into their ballpark, as Vasquez takes a curveball low, and the count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Atlantic League as a whole, since its inception, has welcomed now over 30 million fans to their respective ballparks. A feat that was celebrated earlier this season as Vasquez lifts one to right center field, but playable for Sean Smith, who makes the catch to retire the side. So the Ducks go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Through 7, we're tied at 1 on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM, LI News Radio.
And baseball fans, if you purchase a 50-50 raffle ticket, here's tonight's winning number. Anthony has also put the number up on the scoreboard for you as well.
Hey Ducks fans, do you want frequent updates on team transactions, scores, store specials, and the status of upcoming games? Then follow the Long Island Ducks on Twitter at twitter.com/LIDucks. With Twitter, the faithful flock will also be able to follow their Ducks and find out more information regarding nightly promotions, player signings, league activities, and more. The Ducks are tweeting right now, and you can follow along at twitter.com/LIDucks. John Brownell comes back to the mound for Long Island here. In the top of the 8th inning, he has tossed 97 pitches to this point and has allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 4 walks with 3 strikeouts. Brownell will work against the 9-1-2 batters due up for the Revolution in a 1-1 ball game, top of the 8th inning. Well, run on 3 hits for the Revs, A run on 4 hits for the Ducks. Corey Thurman has also been very strong for the Revolution as well. He's needed just 92 pitches to get through his first 7 innings of work. So we'll see if Thurman comes back out for the bottom of the 8th, as the first pitch here to Alberto Espinoza is fouled off down the first base line, 0-1. It'll be Espinoza followed by Sean Smith and Eric Patterson due up for the Revs here, as York looks to gain their first lead of the ball game. We were scoreless through the first 5.5 innings before Dan Lyons broke through with a solo home run to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Espinoza flies one out to shallow right field here. Out goes the first baseman, Joash Brodin, and he makes the catch in foul territory for out number 1. So Espinoza now 0 for 3 in the ballgame, and that brings us back to the top of the order, and Sean Smith, who's 1 for 3. Smith had the first hit for York. It was a bloop base hit to right field back in the top of the first, and it was the only hit for the Revolution until Bryant Nelson grounded a base hit through the hole on the right side of the infield in the top of the 7th, en route to the Revs scoring a run to tie up the ball game at 1. Brownell from the windup. First pitch to Smith. A fastball misses low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, you could somewhat see this pitching duel really coming, looking at the tail of the tape between these two teams and these two pitchers primarily, as the fastball from Brownell misses low, 2-0. Brownell with 10 wins on the season for the Ducks. He hasn't pitched too well against the Revs before tonight, as the 2-0 to Smith is skied along the infield right side. Under it is Cody Puckett. Now he backtracks to shallow right field and makes the catch along the outfield grass for out number 2. So 2 out, nobody on, and that'll bring up Eric Patterson. Brownell's 10 wins leads the Atlantic League, 1 above Chris Schwinden of the Lancaster Barnstormers and Gary Moran of the Somerset Patriots. So Brownell making a big bid for his league-leading 11th win of the season. So right now he's tied up at 1 with the Revs, due in large part to a very strong pitching performance from his counterpart tonight, Corey Thurman. First pitch to Eric Patterson, a fastball letter high for a called strike, 0-1. Of course, that letter high fastball called for a strike is a part of the emphasis of the new pace of play initiative in the Atlantic League. As the 0-1 is lined over Joash Brodin and fair down the first base line, rolling towards the corner. Patterson will put on his PF Flyers. Lentini just getting to the ball now, and Patterson will arrive standing safely at third base with a 2-out triple. For Eric Patterson, that's his league-leading 15th triple of the season. Absolutely incredible how Eric Patterson has time and time again found a way to get 3 bases on base hits. Brian Pounds is second in the league in triples with 10, but Eric Patterson now with the league-leading 15 triples. That ball was ripped down the first base line, and it just stayed fair. And now a very dangerous part of this ball game. The go-ahead run for the Revs is on third base with 2 out in the top of the 8th. And the number 3 batter in the order, Travis Garcia, at the plate. Garcia's 0 for 3 so far. Brownell will remain in the ball game. The infield plays back with 2 out. And the first pitch fastball is well upstairs, and an acrobatic leap by Jan Vasquez to prevent it from rolling to the backstop. Vasquez had to jump out of his crouch, and with the high heat from Brownell, just was able to get it before it skyrocketed towards the backstop. Patterson with great speed at third base. Anything that gets by Vasquez, he'll likely score. Here the slider misses outside, and Garcia works ahead in the count now, 2-0. The triple to Patterson is the 4th hit allowed by John Brownell in this ball game, and the first extra base hit that he's allowed as well. The 2-0 is swung on and missed. Strike 1. Nice fastball there from Brownell that got Garcia. A little tardy. And the infield plays back and the outfield straight up. This is not a no-doubles defense for the Ducks. They're playing the right-handed hitting Garcia straight up to try to get the final out of this inning and keep this ball game tied at 1. The 2-1 from Brownell, a fastball that just misses outside. And that makes it a 3-1 count. You have the right-handed hitting Chad Tracy awaiting on deck who's tied with Lou Ford for second in the league in RBIs with 65. So it's a pick your poison thing here between Travis Garcia and Chad Tracy. The 3-1 to Garcia is swung on and missed. Another fastball. This one was low from Brownell. Probably would have been ball 4, but instead Garcia went fishing, and he came up empty-handed. So that runs the count full now. A big pitch upcoming from John Brownell. Go-ahead run leads off of third base, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th in a tie ball game. Brownell from the stretch, the 3-2. Swung on and fouled off. And Garcia is able to stay alive. Brownell now north of 100 pitches. About to throw his 111th of the ball game. Again, we've seen him go into the 120s and even scratch the 130s a couple of times this year, so no surprise that Brownell remains in the ball game to this point. As he comes set and works from the stretch, the 3-2. Fastball fouled off down the right field line, out of play. And the count stays full at 3-2. Alberto Espinoza fouled out to the first baseman Joash Brodin to begin this inning. Sean Smith then popped up to the second baseman Cody Puckett. But a triple down the right field line from Eric Patterson has put the go-ahead run 90 feet away from home plate for the Revolution. The 3-2 to Garcia. Swung on and popped up behind home plate. Will Vasquez have enough space? He does not, as it lands in the second row of seating and bounces back right towards the broadcast booth. Little scrum for the ball, and eventually it is picked up by a lucky fan who has himself a nice souvenir. Well, Vasquez just ran out of real estate in pursuit of that foul ball. Give him another maybe 5 feet or so, and the Ducks are out of this inning. Instead, Garcia remains alive. He's fouled off 3 consecutive pitches with a full count. The 3-2 once again is grounded foul. Now 4 consecutive foul balls from Travis Garcia since this count has run full. About to see his 10th pitch overall of the at-bat, with Eric Patterson leading off of third base. Still tied at 1 here in the top of the 8th. 1 run on 4 hits, no errors for York. 1 run on 4 hits, no errors for Long Island. First game of a 3-game series between these two teams. The 3-2 to Garcia is popped up. Foul territory. This one should remain playable. Over is Joash Brodin, but he runs out of real estate once again. It hits the very top of the Ducks dugout down the first base line and then bounces into the general seating bowl. So Garcia now has fouled off 5 consecutive pitches to remain alive in this at-bat. That one just landing foul, again by about a 5-foot difference. It's been a long battle between these two sides. Brownell trying to win it. Once again, he'll come from the stretch. The 3-2. Misses low, ball 4. A terrific at-bat from Travis Garcia, fouling off tough pitch after tough pitch, and eventually draws a walk against John Brownell. It's the 5th walk allowed by Brownell in this ball game. That'll put runners on the corners with 2 out here in the top of the 8th and bring Chad Tracy to the plate. Tracy's 0 for 1. He's walked 2 times and has scored the lone run for the Revs. And he scored on an RBI base hit from Ophelio Castro in the top of the 7th inning. The Ducks briefly led 1-0 after Dan Lyons' solo home run in the bottom of the 6th. But York immediately tied it up in the top of the 7th. And now the Revs looking to take their first lead of the ball game. So the first pitch to Tracy is fouled off. Over the backstop into the sweet level and bounces back in the seating bowl. The fan not able to make the acrobatic catch. And the count moves to 0-1. Brownell's pitch count now at 116. So it continues to climb north. And we'll see what happens with this batter. Could very well be the last batter that Brownell goes up against tonight, as the Revolution have a left-handed hitting Bryant Nelson awaiting on deck. But Tracy pops one up here along the infield. Puckett's underneath it, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So Brownell works into danger, and he works out of it. No runs for the Revolution on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We remain tied at 8 as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Fortunate enough on Military Appreciation Night to have a member of the Air Force, Thomas Pitts, and his lovely girlfriend, Reagan. These two for being here together tonight. Yeah, that's right. Give them a big round of applause. Now, just for being here together tonight, you two have won a $100 gift certificate courtesy of the Del Monte Smelson Diamond Store.
And now let's take a look at the Duck Vision scoreboard in left center field. Here's a word from AAA New York.
My name is Christina Mercy. Being a mom with 2 young daughters, we have many places to go that we do. We have work, preschool, Irish dancing, gymnastics, the elementary school, the other elementary school. I don't have time for car trouble. When I had a dead battery, I called AAA. They had me on the go in 15 minutes. For me and my family, AAA is a smart choice.
And baseball fans, congratulations from New York Life and the Long Island Ducks to Deborah Kineski of Massapequa. Deborah Kineski of Massapequa, you are the winner of that autographed baseball from Long Island Ducks catcher Yon Vasquez. Please report now to the Newsday Customer Service Center on the main concourse behind home plate to claim that autographed baseball. That's Deborah Kineski of Massapequa.
And welcome back here to Bethpage Ballpark. Bottom of the 8th inning. We're still all tied up at 1 between the Long Island Ducks and the visiting York Revolution. Mark Schwartz on the call, Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather. 103.9 FM LI News Radio. New pitcher in the ballgame for the Revs. It is Dan Cortez, the 6'5", 230-pound righty from Pomona, California, excuse me. Former big leaguer. And he'll make his first appearance of this series against the Ducks as Corey Thurman's line has officially come to a close. A very strong outing for Corey Thurman, but he will receive a no decision in this one as we remain tied in the bottom of the 8th inning. And we'll get you Corey Thurman's final line in just a moment as Sergio Miranda leads things off and takes the first pitch fastball outside from Cortez. 1-0 is the count. Cortez works from the stretch with nobody on base. The 1-0 to Miranda. Fastball in the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Cortez making his first appearance of the season with the Revolution here. The 1-1 pitch comes inside and nearly hits Miranda, bushes him off the plate. And the count moves to 2-1. So Corey Thurman wound up going 7 innings for the Revs, allowing 1 run earned on 4 hits with no walks and 5 strikeouts. Very impressive performance from Corey Thurman tonight as the fastball misses upstairs to Sergio Miranda, and the count moves to 3-1. Well, bottom of the 8th inning, Long Island looking to take the lead. And if they were to take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th, it'll be very interesting to see who came out for the 9th. As Miranda takes the fastball in the inside corner for a strike here. 3-2 is the count. You have John Brownell, who has thrown about 120 pitches so far and has held the Revolution to just 1 run. He worked out of danger in the top of the 8th. As Miranda takes the fastball upstairs for ball 4, and the Ducks have the go-ahead run on base here with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's the first walk drawn by a Duck batter tonight, and fans, that's another Municipal Credit Union walk with a purpose. Every time a Long Island Ducks batter walks, the Quackerjack Foundation wins. So Corey Thurman wound up throwing 92 pitches tonight for the Revs, 61 for strikes. He also had 1 hit batsman. Dan Lyons will step in for the Ducks here. And we'll see what the strategy is with the top of the order awaiting on deck. Lyons squares and takes a fastball upstairs for a ball, 1-0. Well, Kevin Baez potentially calling for some small ball here. And the Revolution will use their first mound visit of the ball game. And remember, with the new pace of play initiative in the Atlantic League, this will now count as a timeout for York. They have 3 timeouts allowed throughout the course of a game. any mound visit that results in a pitching change does not count as a timeout, but any other mound visit by a pitching coach or a manager or a catcher or any other fellow infielder results in a timeout. So the Revolution talks over a strategy with Lions squaring around to bunt on that first pitch. So they'll talk about the infield alignment here. And now the Revolution have 2 timeouts remaining in tonight's ball game. So we'll see what Dan Lyons decides to do. Bryant Nelson creeping in at third base, and Lyons pulls the bat back as the fastball misses upstairs 2-0. So Lyons is squared away to bunt on the first 2 pitches of this at bat, but both times Dan Cortez has missed with a fastball upstairs. Cortez is struggling with his command. He walked Sergio Miranda to begin the inning. The 2-0 to Lyons, misses upstairs again. Dan Lyons basically trying to give the Revolution an out, and Cortez is struggling to find the strike zone. Now you got to imagine that Dan will be taking all the way here on a 3-0 count with a pitcher who's struggling to find his command. The 3-0 misses upstairs, ball 4. Cortez walks Dan Lyons on 4 pitches when Dan was trying to lay down a bunt. 2 consecutive walks to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. The Ducks now have the go-ahead run in scoring position. Still nobody out, and the top of the order due up with Phelan Lentini. Well, Corey Thurman threw just 92 pitches to get through the first 7 innings of tonight's ball game. But Mark Mason deciding to go to his bullpen after that point. And right now it's Cortez who's struggling with his command and failing to find the strike zone. First pitch to Lentini, misses upstairs, ball 1. And once again, Phelan squared around to bunt but pulled the bat back as the fastball missed upstairs. And you got to imagine here that the Ducks will continue to take every pitch until Cortez can prove that he can throw a strike. Miranda off of second, Lyons off of first. The fastball misses outside, ball 2. That's now 7 consecutive balls thrown by Dan Cortez. Lentini continues to square around on every pitch, but he will likely pull that bat back until Cortez can throw a strike. The 2-0 misses outside, ball 3. After walking Sergio Miranda on a full count, he then walked Dan Lyons on 4 pitches and has fallen behind Phelan Lentini 3-0. From the stretch, the 3-0 pitch. At the knees for a called strike, 3-1. A borderline call there from home plate umpire Derek Moshe goes in favor of the Revolution. So now we'll see what Phelan decides to do with a 3-1 count. No out, runner at first and second. Lentini drops a bunt down the third base line. It's fielded by Nelson in fair territory. His throw to first in time, but a successful sacrifice bunt from Phelan Lentini. Now the Ducks have runners at second and third and 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the number 2 batter in the order, a guy who's currently riding a 26-game on-base streak, Brendan Harris, due up. So a successful sacrifice there. Advances Miranda over to third base and Lyons over to second. So solid speed along the base paths for the Ducks. And we'll see what York decides to do, and they'll intentionally walk Brendan Harris, and that's another new rule in the Atlantic League this week, really, because the Revolution decided to use their intentional walk. Instead of throwing the 4 pitches needed to walk Brendan Harris, they just signal that they want to walk him, and he is granted first base without a single pitch thrown. So Brendan Harris is intentionally walked. That'll load the bases with 1 out, and we'll have a pitching change as Dan Cortez will exit, I believe. No pitching, no motion has been made just yet. Yes, we will have a pitching change. So Cortez will exit with the bases loaded and 1 away in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll take a break for the pitching change with the Ducks threatening in the bottom of the 8th inning, tied at 1 on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. Can I get an extra 30 seconds for this one, please?
Here's Freddie, Ashley, and Dan.
All right. Ian Durham is the new pitcher for the Revolution as we return in the bottom of the 8th inning. The bases loaded and 1 out for the Long Island Ducks. And the number 3 batter in the order and one of the MVPs of the Atlantic League so far this season, Lou Ford, stepping to the plate. Dan Cortez, in his debut with the Revolution, throws 19 pitches, only 4 for strikes. He walks 3 batters, including 1 intentional walk, and has left the bases loaded as Ian Durham comes on to try to strand those bases loaded and keep this game tied up at 1. Lou Ford at the plate trying to give the Ducks the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Miranda leads off of 3rd, Lyons off of 2nd, and Harris off of 1st base. The first pitch from Ian Durham, a fastball, misses outside, 1-0. Durham is 6'4", 200-pound right-handed reliever from Ventura, California. Trying to get through this inning for the Revs. The 1-0 to Ford. Swung on and lined to right center field, falling quickly. Over is Sean Smith. He makes the catch. Tagging up from 3rd base is Sergio Miranda. He will come home and score. Lou Ford gives the Ducks the lead with a sacrifice fly here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Flock now in front, 2-1. On to 3rd base on the sacrifice fly goes Dan Lyons. Miranda scores from 3rd. Harris holds at 1st base. A sacrifice fly for Lou Ford gives him his 66th run batted in of the season. And the Ducks have converted for a run here in the bottom of the 8th and now lead at 2-1 over the Revolution. Still threatening, however. There's 2 away. And Adam Bailey at the plate. He's 0 for 3 so far. Some words coming out of the bullpen for, the dugout for the Revolution. It's just the manager, Mark Mason, directing his instructions to the catcher, Alberto Espinoza, to direct over towards the infield with Adam Bailey at the plate. Dan Lyons leads off of 3rd. Brendan Harris off of 1st. The Ducks now in front, 2-1. First pitch to Bailey's a fastball that misses outside, 1-0. Again, the Ducks have won 5 of their last 8 games since dropping 13 straight. Trying to work their way back in the second half standings in the Liberty Division. The 1-0. Swung on and fouled off. Deflects off the mask of the catcher, Alberto Espinoza. And towards the backstop, the count now 1-1. Take another look at the out-of-town scoreboard in the Atlantic League, as that continues to become more and more important as the season progresses. Of course, the Somerset Patriots already defeated the Camden River Sharks 7-6 earlier today. In the second game of that doubleheader, the Patriots are currently leading 5-2 in the top of the 8th inning at Campbell's Field. Other out-of-town scores, Lancaster Barnstormers and Southern Maryland Blue Crabs are tied at 6 in the bottom of the 7th inning at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The 1-1 to Bailey. Swing and a miss. Tardy on the fastball, and the count moves to 1-2. And the Bridgeport Bluefish currently in front of the Sugarland Skeeters 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning at Constellation Field in Sugarland, Texas. A score that does not favor the Ducks, as they're currently trailing the Bluefish, trying to work their way back in the standings in the Liberty Division. Here the 1-2 to Bailey. Fastball just misses off the plate, despite a nice framing job done by the catcher, Alberto Espinoza. The count runs even at 2-2. So the run so far here in the bottom of the 8th inning charged against Dan Cortez, who tossed a 1/3 of an inning. The only out he got was on a sacrifice bunt from Phelan Lentini. The 2-2 to Bailey, swung on and popped up. Shallow right field. In comes Eric Patterson, and he makes the catch to retire the side. But the Ducks do take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning on a sacrifice fly from Lou Ford. 3 outs away, the Ducks are from grabbing the series opener against the Revolution as they lead it 2-1. Moving to the top of the 9th on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
Let's look right up here on the board. The question is, in what year did Long Island native Rodney Dangerfield appear in Caddyshack? Was it 1980, 1985, or 1990? Fans, let's help them out. 1, 2, or 3. What do you think, Matt? We're going to go with 1. All right, Matt's going to go with number 1. Let's see. All right, you're in the running. You're in the running. Good job, Matt. Congratulations. You guys are going home with a great prize courtesy of Newsday.
And now, fans, keep your eyes up there in that Duck Vision scoreboard in left center field. Here's a couple of words from Newsday.
Get ready to see Newsday in a fresh new way. With a smart design that's easy to read. With more news, more coverage, and more Long Island than ever before. It's a new day, starting with Newsday.
Brett Lauren is the new pitcher for the Ducks as we move to the top of the 9th inning. Baseball fans, the Long Island Ducks mobile app powered by Clear Vision Apps has officially arrived. Buy tickets and stay up to date on Long Island's hometown team right on your mobile device. Download the app today for free by visiting the App Store on your Apple-powered device or Google Play on your Android-powered device. Ducks currently leading it 2-1 over the Revolution here in the top of the 9th inning. John Brownell goes 8 strong innings for the Flock, and in doing so, allows just 1 run on 4 hits with 5 walks and 3 strikeouts. Brownell throws 117 pitches in his 8 innings of work.
And back to the York Revolution in the top half of the line play.
And now it's off to Brett Lauren to try to get the save for Long Island. It's been a makeshift back end of the bullpen for the Ducks, trying to find a closer since John Malone was taken out of his closer role. Brett Lauren has gotten the last couple of save opportunities, and he'll be called upon here in the top of the 9th inning as Bryant Nelson takes a first pitch fastball outside for a ball 1-0. The 1-0 to Nelson on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Lauren, the tallest player on this Ducks team, stands at 6'7", 245 from Laguna Niguel, California. From the windup here, the 1-1. Fastball swung on and missed. A big hack there from Bryant Nelson, but he can't catch up to the fastball from Brett Lauren, and he falls behind 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Nelson is tomahawk to center field, falling quickly. In comes Ford. He tracks it down and makes the catch for out number 1. Ford had a lot of ground to cover there, but he was able to race in and rob a base hit from Bryant Nelson. Excellent job there from the Ducks hitting coach and star outfielder. 1 away here in the top of the 9th, and that'll bring up Ophelio Castro. Brett Lauren overall this season with the Ducks is 1-1 with a 2.08 ERA in 38 relief appearances. Here the fastball at the knees for a called strike, 0-1. Lauren has 1 save this season with the Ducks. In 39 innings of work, he's allowed 11 runs, 9 earned, with 26 strikeouts against 12 walks. Here Castro fouls off the fastball, and he has quickly fallen behind in the count, 0-2. So John Brownell's final line, he goes 8 innings, allows 1 run earned on 4 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, throws 117 pitches, 73 for strikes. The 0-2 to Castro misses well outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ducks trying to take the series opener here against the Revolution, a team in which Long Island has struggled against this year. York currently owns an 8-3 season series advantage. The 1-2 from Lauren misses inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You have Ophelio Castro at the plate here, and then Tim Battle awaiting on deck. Battle has struggled mightily at the plate so far tonight. Castro, however, is 1 for 2, has the lone RBI of the evening for the Revs, but he swings through the fastball here for strike 3. And the Revolution are now down to their final strike of the ball, final out of the ball game. 2 out, nobody on, and the Ducks on top 2-1 here in the top of the 9th inning. And the last chance for the Revolution rests on the shoulders of their starting left fielder tonight, Tim Battle. Battle is 0 for 3 today, grounded into a double play in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 5th, and grounded into a fielder's choice in the 7th. First pitch swinging, pops up the bunt. Harris comes in, makes the catch, and that's the ball game. Brett Lauren works a 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning, and the Ducks win it by a final score of 2-1. They take the series opener over the York Revolution, and now a happy Bethpage Ballpark will enjoy a post-game Pyrotechnico fireworks extravaganza. We'll take a break and come back and wrap up the night that was on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio.
The losing pitcher for the York Revolution is Dan Cortez, and the save goes to Long Island Ducks right-hander Brett Lauren. In just a few moments in our 2014 Military Appreciation Night, it'll be time for our Pyrotechnico Fireworks Extravaganza, brought to you by Northrop Grumman and the Long Island Ducks. I'd like to remind you the York Revolution will be here again tomorrow. Game time 5:05, the gates at 4:05. Get here early. It's our pregame autograph session, and after the ball game, boys and girls are invited to run the bases here at the ballpark, and the first 1,500 guests will receive a Long Island Duck rally cow. Just before tonight's big Pyrotechnico Fireworks Extravaganza, let's turn things over to Long Island Ducks on field host, the real firecracker himself. He's ready for the fireworks. Here he is, Fast Freddy Forgione.
Thank you, Bullet Bob fans. One more time, let's hear it for your Long Island Ducks. The Long Island Ducks want to send a special thank you out to tonight's game sponsor, Northrop Grumman. Tonight was Military Appreciation Night, and in just a few minutes, our Pyrotechnico...
And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark. Mark Schwartz on the call, as once again the Ducks defeat the York Revolution by a final score of 2-1. Very exciting pitching-friendly game between these two sides, and it eventually is won by the Ducks, as it's time for your post-game recap here on the Nickalock post-game show. All pitchers duel really between Corey Thurman and John Brownell tonight. Thurman for the York Revolution, Brownell for the Ducks. We remained scoreless through the first 5.5 innings of tonight's ball game as Thurman and Brownell continued to exchange zeros on the scoreboard. It wasn't until the bottom of the 6th inning that one team would eventually break through. It was the Ducks, and it came off the shoulders of Dan Lyons. A leadoff solo home run off of Corey Thurman in the bottom of the 6th put the Ducks in front by a score of 1-0. But the Revolution would respond in the top of the 7th inning against Duck starter John Brownell. Travis Garcia led off the inning by flying out to center field. Chad Tracy then walked. Bryant Nelson ripped a sharply hit base hit down the first base line to put Tracy over at third. Ophelio Castro then blooped a base hit into shallow right field. That scored Tracy from third base and tied up the ball game at 1 apiece. Tim Battle then grounded into a fielder's choice, and Angel Flores grounded out to retire the side, despite the Revolution threatening in that inning, and kept the game tied at 1 apiece at that point in time. The Ducks then would go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Corey Thurman finished the ball game. His final line, he went 7 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, and 5 strikeouts, needing 92 pitches to go through those 7 innings. John Brownell came out in the top of the 8th, allowed a 2-out triple to Eric Patterson, and then a 2-out walk to Travis Garcia, but forced Chad Tracy to pop out to the second baseman Cody Puckett to retire the side. Brownell went 8 innings, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits with 5 walks and 3 strikeouts, needing 170 pitches to go through those 8 innings. He was taken out of the ball game after the 8th, as the Ducks would take the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sergio Miranda would walk against relief pitcher for the Revs, Dan Cortez. He walked Miranda and Dan Lyons. Phelan Lentini then dropped down a sacrifice bunt to put runners at second and third. Brendan Harris was intentionally walked. Dan Cortez was taken out of the ballgame in favor of Ian Durham, who came on. The first batter he went up against was Lou Ford, who would hit a sacrifice fly to center field to score Sergio Miranda from third base and put the Ducks in front 2-1. Brett Lauren came on for the save opportunity in the top of the ninth and would work a 1-2-3 inning, getting Bryant Nelson to fly out to center, striking out Ophelio Castro, and Tim Battle would line out to the third baseman, Brendan Harris, on a bunt attempt to retire the side, earn Brett Lauren his second save of the season, and give the Ducks their 2-1 victory. So we'll take a final break. When we come back, hand out the Nickolock postgame honors, go over the out-of-town scoreboard one final time as the Ducks defeat the York Revolution 2-1 here at Bethpage Ballpark on Long Island's home for news, traffic, and weather, 103.9 FM LI News Radio. And welcome back to Bethpage Ballpark for the final time tonight as the Long Island Ducks defeat the York Revolution by a final score of 2-1. Time to hand out the Nickolock Player of the Game honors. Tonight, the Nickolock Player of the Game is Ducks starting pitcher John Brownell. Brownell went 8 innings, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts, needing 117 pitches, I should say, to go through those 8 innings. And he gets his league-leading 11th win of the season. So John Brownell is your Nickolock Player of the Game tonight. Nickolock Retaining Walls and Paving Stones, a company synonymous with quality and service in the manufactured concrete industry for almost 50 years. Time to go over the out-of-town scoreboard one final time tonight as well, as we had one final earlier today. The Somerset Patriots defeated the Camden River Sharks 7-6. In the second game of that doubleheader, the Patriots currently lead 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Other out-of-town scores: in the bottom of the 7th, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs currently trailing the Lancaster Barnstormers 9-6 at Clipper Magazine Stadium, and the Bridgeport Bluefish currently leading the Sugarland Skeeters 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th at Constellation Field down in Sugarland, Texas. So that'll pretty much wrap things up for us here at Bethpage Ballpark. Make sure you tune in for tomorrow's game, our next broadcast, right here at the Duck Pond as the Ducks take on the York Revolution. First pitch at 5:05. Coverage begins at 4:50. Can be heard here on 103.9 FM LI News Radio, also on LIDucks.com and YouTube.com/DucksBaseball. So tonight's winning pitchers: John Brownell, he improves to 11-6 on the season. Dan Cortez falls to 0-1, and Brett Lauren earns his second save of the season. So for everyone involved with the broadcast and our producer back home, Chris Maffei, I'm Mark Schwartz, signing off from Central Islip, wishing everyone a pleasant rest of your Saturday evening, everybody. Good night. Thank you. You as well, Chris.